your ashes doing a makeup. Grinding every day, I'm caked up. Smile on my face, I'm a faker. Yeah, lonely every day lonely every day when I wake up, when I wake up, when I wake up, wake up. Lonely every day when I wake up. Watch your ashes doing a makeup. Grinding every day, I'm caked up. Smile on my face, I'm a faker. Yeah, lonely every day lonely every day when I wake up, when I wake up, when I wake up, wake up. Lonely every day when I wake up. Watch your ashes doing a makeup. Grinding every day, I'm caked up. Smile on my face, I'm a faker. Lonely every day when I wake up. Watch your ashes doing a makeup. Grinding every day, I'm caked up. Smile on my face, I'm a faker. Lonely every day when I wake up. Watch your ashes doing a makeup. Grinding every day, I'm caked up. Smile on my face, I'm a faker. Lonely every day lonely every day when I wake up, when I wake up, when I wake up, wake up. Lonely every day when I wake up. Watch your ashes doing a makeup. Grinding every day, I'm caked up. Smile on my face, I'm a faker. Lonely every day lonely every day when I
Series E.
Series E.
Series E, Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
Series E.
Series E, Apex Legends.
Series E Apex Legends starts right now. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Series E, as it is Pop-Tarts week, and now we are heading into the pro nights. We had a great night last evening for Team Razor, who just teared up the lobby here, but it's a completely different beast. Our nine partner teams will be facing off against 11 pro teams here in this lobby, and so this is going to be an absolute stacked one. I'm Jamerson, joined once again by Tom T Squared Taylor. And Tom, what can we be expecting out of these games?
Yeah, I think we can expect a lot. I'm not sure if any of these teams are in the LCQ, possibly. There probably is a handful of these teams that are going to be playing in the LCQ over this weekend, but this is the most stacked lobby that we really have in Apex in terms of possible ALGS finals. So I'm just really excited to get this one underway and see which teams are going to be playing their best today. One thing to note is NRG is out, Solifide Aim Assist filling in for them, and excited to have Solifide Aim Assist here. They're a great squad, and they bring the same type of team fighting energy when it comes to being compared to NRG.
Definitely. We have so many ALGS winners in this lobby. And so this is some of the best practice that you can get in, particularly on World's Edge. We had a great night for those people that were able to catch it. Twitch Rivals happened yesterday. It was super fun to watch. I watched back some of the games as well. It was great being able to, of course, always see the individual player's perspective. But this is Series E, so let's go ahead and talk about the format. What are we doing here? Well, it's going to be a 3-month season. Every week we have our sign up nights that we had last night, and then of course our pro nights, and you're trying to rack up as many points as possible, but every night is its own instance, which will be accumulated at the end of the season. How do you get the points? Well, of course, placements always matter. It's the same ALGS format. First place gets 12 points all the way down to 15, where you get 1 point, and every kill you get will net you another point. And speaking of points, we have to talk about how consistent Team Razor has been across the many weeks that we have played right now. Team Razor are the current cumulative leaders with 506 points, with Team Rockstar behind them at 432. So a 74-point gap, which is quite massive when you look at the other teams in the lobby right now. 74 points kind of separates like Team Rockstar from almost Team Rice Krispie Treats down at 350, and they're all the way in the 6th place. And so these are super important things to look at, that Team Razor have that huge of a gap as we're heading into the second half of the season, basically.
Yeah, I think we could look at yesterday's placings as being fairly interesting because Razer widened the gap even more. Rockstar had the most underwhelming performance out of all of the teams that we had here on our open day yesterday. And then Team Pop Tarts, I think, finished with inside the top 3 or something like that, because it is Pop Tarts week and they really were coming through. And keep in mind, there's going to be, I think, 5 of these teams, maybe 4 of them, 4 or 5. I'll have to get the correction on that. I think it's 4. Maybe 5. Well, anyway, we'll figure it out. But there's relegations here is what I'm trying to get to. And it's going to happen. And the teams that are over towards the bottom need to start thinking about trying to get around 450 points and being around where Nestle Pure Life is, because otherwise you're going to have to go through the qualification process. And there's a lot of good teams that are up and coming trying to take those spots.
I mean, that's right. I mean, if we're looking at teams that, currently aren't signed by any organizations, like Two Brains, One Controller is one that you have to imagine will be trying out to get into one of our spots. But these are the teams that are going to be competing today. Of course, you already know them and you love them. Our 9 partner teams. They're on basically the left-hand side, but here are all of our competitors for the invite. You got names like TSM, Liquid, Two Brains, One Controller, Cooler, CLG. I mean, again, these are all teams that have won ALGSs pretty much.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch Navi and Cooler come through because they've been having kind of underwhelming performances in the ALGS. And then you come here and see them play in Series E, and they're doing pretty solid. They're doing great. So it's great practice for them. They're going to be going through the LCQ. These are the teams that I'm talking about that are going to have to really step it up. And what better time to go and practice middle of the week like we're talking about? These scrim opportunities are fairly rare, but to go and have different play styles and things like that, it's pretty interesting. And one thing that's for sure is after watching the last ALGS that happened, there was so many caustics on the EU. There was about 6 or 7 in the finals lobby, and I think there was maybe 1 in the NA lobby, if not any. And crypto's starting to become a little bit less popular. I think that we have maybe 2 teams that are running crypto, and one of them switched off crypto yesterday, which was Team Applejack. So everyone's really kind of shifting the meta. We've even seen some of our partner teams hop off certain legends while the season's going on and go to others. We've seen maybe 2 or 3 different comps out of teams like Team Pringles. So it's been pretty interesting to watch how these teams try to evolve with the meta.
Yeah, trying to get the last little bits of practice that you can get in. I mean, hell, we even saw Nasky filling in for one of our squads yesterday as well. And the EU side, they definitely do scramble to try and get as much practice as possible. And Nasky, one of the hardest workers in the game here, is we are getting ready to head into game number 1. We were talking about it, of course. This is Pop Tarts week, and so if you want to get yourself a nice gift box of Pop Tarts, make sure you enter our giveaway. All you have to do is type an ! giveaway, and you are entered, where we will be drawing at the end of the evening. So make sure you keep an eye out for that and stay tuned with us throughout the night. And we'll see how well Team Pop Tarts perform. We saw yesterday they had a very strong start. They were fragging out in the lobby, and then they start to slow down, kind of burn the gas a little early on there, Tom.
Yeah, I'm getting also word in our first lobby, we're going to only have 19 teams. Solifida Amos is going to pop in game number 2. But fortunately, there is 6 games, so you're going to be able to make that up throughout the time. And they always got to rub it in our face when I'm hungry here and just eat right in front of us. So, yeah, thanks,
That's the pretzel one, by the way.
Is it the pretzel one? Oh, they knew it.
That's
They
the
knew that you were
pretzel
intrigued by that one, so they had to see what it was. Here they're pretty good too. Apparently, I
Yeah.
wouldn't know if didn't get any.
So this is going to be surprising because we've seen, of course, that our European teams they're the ones that are playing the 50-50s. They're the ones that are dropping on people, right? Third Impact. We saw them consistently getting into fights with Team Applejacks, I believe, in the north. Cooler wherever the hell they decide to drop it, whose game they decide to make that much more difficult. If it might be Team Pop-Tarts here or Team Intel, I believe, who actually drop over at sorting, if I remember correctly. They might get challenged by Cooler. We'll find out in just a moment before we head into game number 1. And so, again, that's going to be the big question mark here. Where are our teams going to drop? Because it has not been as consistent for Cooler. And we have been seeing that with the addition of teams like Intel and such, that our partner teams have had to learn to drop on the fly.
Yeah, sorry, I was having a little problem with my feed and I had to fix it. That's why I was making all these funny faces over towards the side. Listen to everything that you were saying. There's going to be a lot of crazy drops. One of them already happening as Draco's going to get the first knock onto Albrelli. Keep in mind, we started with 19 squads. So 1 knock on each side over here. Ronnie trying to heal up. This is a tree fight that we're looking at, and we know MPL was dropping tree yesterday. They were winning a lot of their fights over here, but getting rid of Albrelli is huge. All of the teams are extremely skilled in this lobby, so getting a knock is not going to be easy. Winning these 50-50 is not going to be easy, and Flanker going to get the knock on Draco's, putting Ronnie in an awkward situation.
Yeah, Ronnie now left in a 1v3 as Albrelli was rezzed up, and he was even able to heal just a little bit, and they will be able to finish him off. So Team Liquid will secure tree for themselves here in game number 1 as we've got another fight going on. Na'Vi were able to finish off turns in their fight, and we'll see how that one actually finishes off. It looks like, yeah, over here in Fragment East, that's where the fight is taking place. 303 will go down. So 2 squads already out within the first couple of minutes of game number 1.
It's going to be interesting to see if those teams continue to 50-50, and someone that's always extremely active in the beginning of the games, and maybe that's why they're a little bit lower on the standings right now, is Team Cheez-Its. They always are fighting over towards the survey side, over towards the refinery side, in the epicenter side. It's like you don't even know where they land at because they're in so many different spots. It's Third Impact over here hunting them down. Nade's going to get knocked. Strictly doing whatever he can to stay alive. 10 seconds on the grapple, so it's going to be a little difficult. Also, no batteries, but our 301 Mastiff is a pretty solid combination this early in the game. But Jazz going to get the knock onto Hambino, and not the spot you want to be in with no health meds here either. You can't even really take these shots, and that's a smart play just to let him go, hit the Phoenix. Good Lord, thank God he has that.
Team Applejacks just went down as well, and here comes the third party on to Team Liquid now, as Hundreds was able to get the knock onto Albrelli. His bleed out time is going to look very, very short indeed if he's able to make it into the end game here, as Albrelli will get finished off. Team Pringles coming in here with a quick rotation out, and so quick punish as Flanker gets finished off as well.
Wow, I'm surprised that they're still over in this area looting. I mean, I get that they had to fight, but at 1 minute 30 seconds, you have to assume that all the other teams are going to rotate. And Pringles is a team that's been experienced in landing where they land. They don't get contested, and that's free loot for them. So it's going to be interesting to see what Nestle Pure Life does, as Casello's absolutely blowing it here.
There we go.
Got it, guys.
Finally
Don't
hits
worry.
it. Got
Maybe
the gold
scanned
cargo bot for them. Yeah, we'll see what we've got in just a moment here, as it is December, gifts waiting for you at the end. But yeah, they're going to be able to continue their loot path right now, and don't know. I don't believe that Nocturnal has gone down yet, and so Liquid still have an opportunity in this game to try and get back, I believe. On board with Team Intel, who are now making the rotation up, as we can see that ring is pulling over to the western side of the map, fading towards quite possibly Harvester. We haven't gotten a scan quite yet, and so we don't quite know exactly where the circle is going. Thank you, of course. We can always rely upon TSM getting us that ring information. So Countdown along with Lava Fissure, it's going to be the big point that you want to play towards right now, as Stink does finish off Nocturnal. So Liquid out early here as well in game number 1. Now we are down to our 15 squads.
He must have been going for banners there instead of ratting it out, which makes sense. I mean, you really want to try to get your teammates back into the game, especially game number 1. And Team Liquid's a team that's really just trying to win it all. They're not trying to just play for placement points. They want to, oh no. Sending it into the lava, not ideal there. But yeah, TSM helped us out with the scan. I really want to see how they're going to play this circle, because it seems like they're one of the first teams, as always, to rotate. And they're always kind of picking in between, do they want to race for kills, or do they want to just end up playing middle circle here? So we'll see what happens with Team Pringles as now they're making their way outside of Tree, making their way over towards this tunnel area, and they should be safe to kind of make their way through. So that had to be a team, maybe like Team Rockstar or someone along those lines that was coming from that backside like Dome or Lava City.
Yeah, they're just going to hand off some meds here. Will Casellos to the rest of his squad as they're starting to make their way on in. They do have to secure a decent spot to fight out of. And so I do agree with them just backing away from the team that really wasn't going to apply much pressure and just keep them holed up there. As we swap back on over to TSM, who have currently moved into Lava Fissure now and are looking to control one of these buildings. They at least secured, of course, that gold helmet looks like off of
Maybe the circle we saw yesterday.
Ooh, Pop-Tarts taking a fight against Cheez-It right now. We know that Cheez-It were already in dire straits. It looks like Strictly was finished off. And so at this point, Cheez-It's not having a great go. Things consistently now, week after week here in the Pro Weeks, have been contested by Third Impact.
Look at these Pop-Tart fiends. Get some help, you guys. Good Lord. Busting out the unless you're you guys need to be covered in Pop-Tarts like Fat Fruit Ninja. Someone please bust open those boxes, swarm yourself in Pop-Tarts. So this could be the circle that we saw yesterday where it ended right in that open lava area down below where TSM's trying to hold, and they're going to try to either hold this building, which can really help gatekeep this whole area, or they're going to try to hold the donut, but they don't want teams to kind of share the donut area. They would like to probably ideally hold that spot. So I think TSM's predicting that zone, and we'll see if it ends up pulling that way.
Pop-Tarts on the trail of someone right now. Blight did take a lot of damage, will pop that Phoenix kit, but this might be the remainders of Team Cheez-It here. Is again, those tracks are fresh, only about 15-20 seconds as Team Cheez-It, they were able to recover and get the reses, but you know, now they are in a lot of trouble. Big damage coming out from nades there. Well, with that R99, was able to crack that armor, but doesn't get the fences down as he gets double peaked. He does get some decent damage off as Lucas will be able to finish him off, but Hambino is nowhere near to really take advantage of that at all. And so now it's going to be up to Lucas to try and, excuse me, not Lucas, the last member of Team Cheez-Its to try and keep this one alive for them here. And so again, our Team Cheez-Its having a really, really rough go of things, getting contested and now getting chased down by Team Pop-Tarts.
Oh, Pog-Tarts, new flavor coming out soon.
Why didn't we think of that earlier? It was a failing of both you and I. We didn't think of that before.
I figured it out. So let's see what CLG is doing. Oh, they actually decided they want to push in over towards the Lava Fissure's Donuts we were talking about where TSM wanted to hold, but 2 brains, 1 controller seems to be in the vicinity already. It's going to be Nog finding one, and nice job by Vaxlon immediately fencing that one off, but they're pushing over towards the side. That's going to connect. Nice Arc Star coming through. The second nade is going to hit too, but they've already got Madness down, and you see the EMP coming through too. So this is going to be a tough situation for Pau. I like the way that Vaxlon is really playing this one. He's going to have to clutch this up in a 3-1 scenario though.
Yeah, after that Renok, they just knew they had it there. They got the second connect on the Arc Star as well, and that's going to be 2 brains, 1 controller. Once again, and kind of being the bane to CLG here, who are trying to make a very aggressive play, get inside Lava Fissure. 2 brains, 1 controller, though not out of trouble quite yet, as a third party has arrived. Luckily for them, though, they took that last team fight very handedly, and here comes the EMP out from Tech. And no, he's just going to go ahead and scout out for his squad, as that team did back away after committing their bubble into that. So 2 brains, 1 controller with a really strong spot here. Will be controlling the western side here and really stopping teams from trying to make any kind of rotations through this portion, and they leave that option available for themselves as well if they need to go to the north or to the south, depending upon where the next circle pulls.
I love LG's team composition, man. No one else is running this. Caustic, Crypto, Wraith. It's such an interesting turn of events. What they're basically trying to do is saying, okay, since we have Crypto, we're going to be able to hit scans wherever we want as long as no one's hitting our drone. We're just going to be able to hit these drive-by scans. And if we're able to figure out where this zone's going and take control of buildings and get this Caustic to endgame, he's going to be the guy that carries us through. So that team composition makes sense to me. It's such an interesting way to play the game, but you're not able to take a lot of fights towards the edge with these Gibraltar teams, which, you know, that's one of the unfortunate things with that team composition is you're not really looking to fight. You're just looking to really play to win the game. But I like that style coming in from LG. If your teammates are solid enough, just like Two Brains One Controller, where you could play Crypto, it's such a fun legend to play.
Yeah. Currently, though, on board with Na'Vi, who have spotted out a squad to the north here, and they have hunkered down currently within Trials. We'll see if they can get aggressive. It's Team Pop-Tarts on the other side who are looking to rotate in. So this is a very dangerous position for them to be in, right? Because they're going to be funneled into basically this area that Lucas is trying to get the port down onto. Don't know if there's another team on the other side. And this was a blind one. He takes so much damage for it, has to instantly port back. No, Fat Fruit Ninja is here to throw down that bubble for him. But you know, if a couple more of those shots connected, he could have just gone down. You might have seen push out. Defensive bombardment has been used as well to try and slow things down as they have to turn around here. We know that there was another squad inside Trials proper. The Thermite taking down a Fat Fruit Ninja. He's getting shot from above as well, from heaven. And this was what I was talking about. Just getting pinched from not just all directions, but also from above, which is typically something you don't really have to worry about as much here on World's Edge, but this is definitely one of those areas where you do have to consider that, and it's Cooler that's on top.
Yeah, and this is literally Team Pop-Tart's problem. They are really bad at rotating. They're great at fighting, and what they need to realize is Lucas needs to go back and watch the VODs and realize that they need to just take these fights. Like, charge the team down at Trials. Yeah, you may get third-partied, or just, like, don't put yourself in these positions. Yeah, it's very difficult to go and rotate, but you should be able to find spots at least until Zone 4. So I don't know why they put themselves in these weird situations where they're getting pinched. They need to realize what their strengths and weaknesses are. Big weakness is rotations, so they need to figure out what they're doing and realize they're good at team fighting. So just go take a fight somewhere. And whether you need to take a god spot, just do it, man.
We had some roster shakeups a couple months ago where Nasky and Dell ended up signing with Cooler. Max Strafey, of course, went over to Na'Vi, and it's kind of interesting to see that playstyle where, Retzi missing that jump for that port. But seeing how often that Na'Vi and Cooler end up kind of mirroring each other, kind of interesting to see that dynamic play out. And we'll see how now Sentinels play this. That port, not quite what they wanted here, and so they're just gonna have to walk this one in to the low ground. They will have the Raptors to work with, and it looks like not too much contesting them currently, as Retzi still leading the charge on that Wraith. Puts out good damage and allows his team safe passage into a safe zone in the spot. Safe spot in the zone, excuse me.
Yeah, and this is a completely different situation that we're seeing from these other teams where they're playing the low ground, they're methodically making their way through. This is an experienced team that knows how to rotate. This is what you have to do. You have to set a portal. You have to say it's not good to take. You come back and you figure out a different route to take. You have so many different options. You'll be surprised what you can get away with. And that's what you're seeing from these experienced teams. And that's a great play from Team Sentinels, just getting in there and an experienced Wraith player putting you in a great position where now you can possibly pick off some kills. But speaking of kills, looks like Team Rockstar getting busy over here towards Trials.
Yeah, they should be pushing up onto Na'Vi right now, but their time is starting to run out. They've got 15 more seconds before the zone starts closing, and it looks like they're just going to allow the other team, elect to allow them to stabilize here, and they do have to be careful. We do know that Cooler were up top as well, so this is third party central. Na'Vi just playing the blast doors for now, and they do have the time to work with. They know that they cleared the outside. Pop-Tarts is no longer there to try and keep them out. But again, it's that ever-looming threat from above. As you can see the scans coming out from, I believe, Yuki on that Bloodhound, just letting them know that, hey, we are here. We are ready to jump down on you if you guys trade away. And so that is why the fighting has stopped for now, but it's LG getting into a fight with Team Rice Krispies, Sung the first one to go down. You can see there on the kill feed, Hemlock really coming into favor amongst our pro players, just the amount of damage you can put out with the burst shots, as Sung will get finished off. LG fighting in the storm for this, committing for this now, but Rugby does have to be careful. He has a Q to get back to safety here, as HP was dropping fairly low, and he will be safe.
Yeah, and you'll notice a very small detail when it comes to holding spots like this for LG is you always have to keep one door open for your Wraith, and you can't put a caustic trap there and think that you can trap every single door. So that's something that's already communicated and predetermined for LG on these type of pushes, and that's another very small thing that little team, you know, unexperienced teams need to try to figure out. But look at Navi getting aggressive onto Team Rockstar. Pickett's going to get the initial knock. Claus is extremely weak. And that's a 2 versus 3 versus 1 situation here, as you do seem like Cooler's going to come in with a third party. So this is exactly what we're talking about before too. Sometimes you have to take fights, and Cooler's just so patient throughout this scenario. They're waiting to drop down, knowing teams and knowing that someone's eventually going to go and contest this spot. So I like the job by Crummy that he's doing, trying to rat as much as possible. But there's a full 3-man Cooler squad right onto him.
There's no hiding as a rat in this server anymore, especially here in North America. The amounts of bloodhounds that we've got activated, it's just impossible here, as it looks like Crust was able to finish off Hambino. So I believe that might be Team Cheese that just done and dusted. We are now down to 9 squads remaining, full squads at that as well. Cooler with a great position here still in the heaven spot above Trials here, as they're going to start farming up the loot and start bringing it back, as again, they're going to be able to have a lot of armor swaps and all the meds that they really could use as well. Right now on board with Sentinels, who have found a nice spot here to try and gatekeep teams, as the zone will start closing very shortly. That bubble's going to go down, but it's Retzi with the R301 getting good damage off Imperial Health. Will be able to finish off Ballon G, and so that is third impact out now, as it looks like it was a good recovery coming out from TSM. Third impact, I believe, already started this fight off with getting a knock onto Imperial Hell, but TSM were able to recover. And now another fight taking place. It's going to be Team Razor on the southern edge of the zone here. They have to slowly walk this one in as well. Zara Tricky, it's going to be key for him to see what the bubble time is going to look like. Razor's Mercy only taking a lot of damage, though. We'll see now as they have to start pushing up. Here comes the defensive bombardment. It is connecting on to TSM. They're taking so much damage. The armor swaps are keeping them alive for now, though. Reps has to use that med kit. But now Team Razor all going down. It's Intel to come in and clean up so much of this, but they need to keep on moving. They need to clean up the rest of these fights. LG in a fight with 2 brains, 1 controller, and 2 brains, 1 controller will take that one out. And take a look at the ring pull. 2 brains, 1 controller, playing for that flex once again, really knowing these circles and how to play them. They are showing how good their late game macro is. So, TSM have survived that big scuffle on the southeast side of the map, but they have a long road ahead of them here, as there's already a team that's dropped down to try and contest them.
Yeah, that's part of the brains of the operation there from Bowser and Tech, calling where that zone is going to be, figuring out what spot they need to hold down. That's not an easy spot to predict, and they did it very nicely, but now they have to deal with Cooler coming in with a fast third party. All the players should have been able to heal, but Nasky's going for armor swaps. They're able to find this player in the back of the truck as well. And Yuki's going to get a couple of knocks, making it look easy over here on the Cooler side. You see another fight happening in the top right. TSM taking on Team Intel. Tempest, last guy alive. Looks like someone else is in the fight too. It's going to be a whole Sentinel squad with the third party. Nice hip fire shots there, but not enough. Sentinels in a great position there, and it looks like we're going to have a Sentinels Cooler ending.
Team Intel do survive until the top 3, though, and right now it's all about Team Cooler versus Team Sentinels. We'll see if Cooler were able to position early enough here, but the Kraber is out for Senox. He brings out that first shot. Will continue even up against that Gibraltar arm shield here as they continue to push forward. Cooler have to be careful upon this approach, but Retzi has taken a lot of damage. We see the bats being used by him and Crust back into this fight. Nasky now forced back as well. You can see tactical maneuvering coming out from Dell here, getting over for that crossfire on the left-hand side. Nasky gets the knock onto Crust. Dell will be able to finish this all off with that PK. Great job coming out from Cooler, and this is what we want to see out of them, taking the victory here in game number 1.
Yeah, they're hyped up. They have a lot to play for right now, and it was an awesome job by Cooler. I think Sentinels got a little bit cocky there with the Kraber, but either way, it was a very nice execution coming in from both of these teams. Sentinels with a very tough rotation. We saw the portal that got messed up earlier. We saw them come through, play the bottom, go in third party a fight with Intel and TSM, and then meanwhile, you have a great positional play coming in for Two Brains One Controller, but Cooler ends up taking that spot with great shots. So overall, it's exactly what we want to see from all these teams. Great game number one.
Yeah. We are going to go ahead and take a short break, but when we get back, we'll have game number 2 of Series E's Pro Night. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Okay, so we got Pop-Tart hands. They're not like perfectly on my... You know what, we're gonna fix this one because that looks weird. Perfect. I'm Fat Fruit Ninja, and I play Apex Legends for Team Pop-Tarts. We have the Pop-Tarts hand wrist accessories guaranteed to improve your gameplay. Plus, the sun deflector. Why wouldn't you need that?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Series E as we are getting ready to head into game number 2. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboards here and to see exactly how many kills and points all of our teams picked up. Of Cooler getting into maybe 3 major fights that are, of course, 1 in the end, or 2 in the end, and then 1 in the mid game there. Pick up 21 points overall. So yeah, that is just 3 fights, 9 kill points for themselves. Sentinels coming in second place will have 7 kill points for themselves, and Team Intel, I believe, really not getting into too many fights there, but they did end up picking up some KP, so they end up with 11 points. But TSM there and 2 Brains, 1 Controller tied in 4th place for 10 points now.
And now we welcome the 20th team, Solafide, Aim Assist coming through. 20th place, 0 points. Keep in mind, they didn't play last game, so they're going to be here now, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. All these teams are, but I love the way, again, a lot of these teams played this. We saw a lot of different team compositions. Love what LG is running. 2 Brains, 1 Controllers on the Crypto too. So this is a very interesting lobby, especially with the 50-50s that we have going on. Cheese It, Third Impact Black, that's constantly going on. And then you have on the other side Nestle Pure Life going up against Team Liquid. So that's always going to be fun to watch too. Last time they had Albrily down, but I'm so glad that Albrily is sticking with the Pathfinder, still the best Pathfinder in the game, and I think that he should continue to rock that.
I think we also have Applejacks versus Luminosity. There was a lot of fighting going on in the early game of game number 1. So we'll see if any of our teams make our adjustments, but our pro teams, really coming to prove that, these are their stomping grounds. This is where we're going to be fighting or dropping. So we'll see if it is going to be necessary for them to make those trades or not. But we're seeing that, the teams that aren't getting as contested or are having safer drops, right? Like Team Razor. Even though they share Skyhook with CLG, they're not fighting off the drop. And so they're able to make it to the mid game, into the late game. And that's why we're seeing teams like Razor, of course, leading our cumulative leaderboard. Right now, though, this is our current leaderboard for the night. Our teams are playing for $500, split between 1st and 2nd place. And so those are the 2 positions that we're going to keeping our eyes on throughout the course of the evening.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Team Intel was putting themselves in a pretty solid position, and they've been playing pretty impressive. Remember yesterday, if you were just joining us and didn't watch yesterday, it was a great performance from Team Intel. They were doing a fantastic job predicting where the zones were going, and they did it again too. And that was tough. That's why it was so crazy as we take a look at some of these replays. Jamerson, how many fights did we see as that zone closed over towards where Cooler was fighting over towards 2 Brains, 1 Controller? It was a wild pull. All the teams were stuck on the Lava Fissure side of the map.
Yeah, and that was kind of 2 Brains, 1 Controller's plan, right? To try and control that choke, to pick up KP when they can. A lot of teams ended up avoiding them there, but ultimately Pop-Tarts were able to, not Pop-Tarts, excuse me. They got overran by Cooler eventually, but when 2 Brains, 1 Controller can play it perfectly, I mean, that's where we see them hit the late game, hit the really big games where they're ending up with like 26, 27 points. Unfortunately for them, they just bit off a little bit more than they can chew. A lot of teams kind of avoiding the fight there as well, as this was the early fight that 2 Brains, 1 Controller took up against CLG. And again, this rotation for CLG, when they have to run to 2 Brains, 1 Controller, ultimately, more often than not, heads up in 2 Brains, 1 Controller's favor.
Yeah, and Trials was such a nice spot to hold down, and one of the teams that we see hold that down very nicely is Team Razor, but they weren't there. Cooler was there in the vicinity, and Cooler just sat on top, pretty waiting to pounce on anybody that was in the spot. And it makes you wonder just how powerful that spot is, right? Do they need to do something to kind of change that so you can get up there a little bit earlier? Maybe one more zip line, make it difficult to watch, because once you're up there, like you said, it is heaven, man. You're sitting pretty up there. There's nothing that the other teams can do, especially if you have a Hemlock or a Scout, which a lot of people are running. Tempest here did everything he can with the wingman shots, but it was a third party, and it was a perfect third party from Team Cooler, which just was showing their timing being impeccable. But I thought that Sentinels had this initially with the snipe onto Yuki with the big, I think, 154 damage. They just didn't send it fast enough after that. And they also don't have all of their resources. So it made it pretty nice if they had that. But looks like we're going to go to a quick break here after the replay. And we have a lobby error. We'll be right back with game number 2 shortly.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. Unfortunate things are happening, of course, in the servers right now, and so Solifide Aim Assist will not be able to join us. We will be having Flashpoint taking up that 20th spot. And we got to see Flashpoint a lot last night, and you know, they're a team that's always up for a challenge. And, you know, you and I both know Kubsky, they're on that squad. He is determined, if not anything else, to compete as much as possible. And that is a squad that definitely does deserve every opportunity to get to try and compete, because they're just so damn smart. Unfortunately, of course, they're not going to have Nasky on them on their roster today because, well, Nasky's going to be playing with his normal squad of Cooler. So they hopefully will have the full Flashpoint roster for them, even though they are coming in to fill last minute here for our squad. So we're about to head into game number 2 just to set the stakes here, or not the stakes, but kind of set the place there. Cooler ended up winning game number 1. They had 21 points overall. And I believe it was Sentinels who ended up having, if I remember correctly, 15 points there. So no huge discrepancy in points quite yet. Team Pop-Tarts dropping over here at Overlook. They were able to do a decent job of farming up the early games of the lobby yesterday, just not able to really transition that into the mid and to the late game. We saw in game number 1, they were having some positional issues as well. Nestle Pure Life are here contesting them, though, and so we might have an early fight.
Yeah, Nestle Pure Life gets bullied out by Team Liquid, and now they're out for Team Pop-Tarts. And you do see 303 getting the knock and finish, though, onto Max Strafe. So nice job by 303 getting the initial kill of the game. And you do see a melee kill coming in for turns. He's somehow finishes that one off. Unfortunate, though. On the other side, Nestle Pure Life looking good for the armors. After this fight, I want to touch base on some strategy things with Flashpoint being introduced to the lobby, but I want to see what Nestle Pure Life's doing against Pop-Tarts in this situation. You have the better side for Team Pop-Tarts, but Nestle Pure Life looks like they could either take the loot and leave, or they could kind of force these guys behind them. But keep in mind, if this lasts a long time, Jamerson, teams could come from No Name, teams could come from Refinery, Epicenter, and those are some very good teams that land over there in that area.
Yeah, and a lot of time has dwindled away. It's getting closer and closer, about 23 seconds off. Oh my goodness! TSM are trying to get involved in this fight as well. They came in for that third party, and Tech does go down, but he traded 1 for 1. And it's taking place here over at Fragment West once again. It's Reps down now. Turns able to pick up one more. Imperial Howl is left on his own. As there we go, a good spray down, but his armor has been cracked as he backs away. Does cover that door for himself, but one melee into it, and now he has to worry, of course, about Tech trying to open it from the other side. And there we go, they finish him off, and TSM are out early.
Wow, I can't believe that 303 is with so many kills to start the game. TSM never dies in their own area. It was just a great initial knock that came through. Speaking of knocks, Applejack's going down. It's Team LG pushing through. Multiple knocks on their side. There's the finish. A lot of action to start this one, and we still have the fight that was going on over towards the Overlook side.
Yeah, that one was a standstill currently, but LG securing the spot for themselves again as they're trying to get that Crypto Caustic into the late game. They're going to have the replicators to work with as well. If we can swap back on over to Team Pop-Tarts to check in with what they're doing right now, as that would be great. And it looks like they were either swatting away a third-party attempt, or somehow that team was able to swoop on through and get by them. I feel like that might be a little bit unlikely, but we'll find out in just a moment. But looks like every team now starting to focus on their rotations. Pop-Tarts' Fat Fruit Ninja having a little difficulty getting onto the balloon, but he will ultimately get up there. And it looks like they want to continue their looting path. And so they're going to go up north now and start rotating through Epicenter, maybe over to Refinery if they have the time to try and pick up some additional loot here. As Fat Fruit Ninja gets off that balloon a little bit early on as they pick up these free bins here on the way to Epicenter.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Team Pop-Tarts what happened. They go over there, they have Overlook for free. Next thing you know, Nestle Pure Life loses a fight to Team Liquid. And wow, look at those shots coming in from Zeratricky. Holy cow, 2 players on Nestle Pure Life down. Team Razor looking strong.
So did Team Razor change up their drop spot as well? This is really surprising if they actually were able to rotate all the way here from Skyhook. Quite possibly, of course. We were seeing that 303 weren't dropping over at Geyser, which is typically where they want to drop. So maybe Team Razor took that. I don't know. We haven't been able to check in with every team off drop here. as we are now on board with Team Rice Krispie Treats, who are stuck in this position, or actually have a team stuck in the position. Oh my goodness! They knocked the door. Albralele is in there, but they have done so much damage to Team Liquid. He does get finished off. They need to continue to push in. No, it's
No, that's
actually
Sentinels.
Sentinels that was stuck inside. Team Liquid coming in for the third party, and now Sentinels are looking to clean up. 2 members of Rice Krispies are
over.
down here, and Sentinels are just so happy about that third party from Liquid to keep them alive.
Yeah, it was a long-range charge rifle, but the great thing for Team Liquid is Albralele is going to get credit for one of those kills. So Sentinels only gets 1 kill point out of that, and they're probably going to win the fight either way. But just watch the way that Sentinels bait and switches. It's so nice to watch. You do maximum damage, and then you try to take maximum damage without getting down. You back off, your next teammate comes and does the same thing. Bird somehow lived with about 10-15 HP throughout all that, and is going to try to rat his way to some placement points. But now we look at what Team Rockstar is doing. They're coming in on the rotation towards Sorting Factory side. We know they're Lava City gang, so not that far from where they landed, but they see some action, so they're just trying to scout out what's going on and figure out exactly how they want to go and push this one, because they know they're going to meet some resistance right where their pings are.
Yeah, they were ready, willing to pounce upon the third party, didn't see the opportunity, back away. So a good decision coming out from them. For now, is you have some information about this, where this ring is pulling, and go onto a team that might actually have that information for us. That'd be great. Pop-Tarts, though, they're in a fight over here at Survey. The scans are coming out for them. Fat Fruit Ninja has already used his bubble now. Lucas sliding down to the low ground here. Will start moving his way to the eastern side, try to get himself a different angle here, as he's trying to set up that crossfire now for his squad. Will elect to just back away for now, play this a little bit more passively, as they have lost sight of the enemy team. Blight will have another scan ready for himself, but he gets cracked, does back away. Pop-Tarts, they did not have the greatest of loot coming out. And so now it's CLG that we are joining on board with. They got into a fight with LG, already getting that knock on to Ronnie here, is Pow looking to pounce and take advantage. That's the re-knock on to Ronnie, but joining back on board with Pop-Tarts here, as Fat Fruit Ninja will go down. That's third impact coming in, as things are looking dire. We'll see if Lucas possibly has support to try and get him out to safety. During all that, though, CLG finished their fight with LG.
Nice job there by CLG. And speaking of CLG, that's what I wanted to talk about. Depending on where these zones are, CLG is going to be playing a lot like Flashpoint, where they're going to be predicting where the zones are. But CLG is a more aggressive team. They're looking to take more fights. But a team like 2 Brains 1 Controller, Team Intel, they're going to be a little bit thrown off by a team like Flashpoint, because Flashpoint is the best team at predicting zones and getting into zone. That's what they're known for. They have the highest placement in North America overall. They average 5th place every single game in the finals, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, they don't get a lot of kill points throughout all that, but just their zone knowledge is very, very strong. As we take a look at the winners from last game, Cooler making their way through. Early phase popped as Serdell did not want to take any damage going through that open area, and he's going to just meet up with his teammates over towards Market.
Yeah, gold armor and purples for Cooler here, so they are looking great on the loadout so far. Volt Mastiff for Serdell wants to be playing that front line with this Wraith, picking up some additional ammo for that Volt as well. Gotten to see the power of the Volt, and they are actually hot on the trails of a person right in front of them. Seeing one climb up, that's going to be Lucas to go down. And oh boy, Pop-Tarts, they honestly just got caught out by too many teams coming in. Here comes the Ultimate Excel as well for Yuki, as he knows that there has to be other teams in the area. He wants to get that Beast of the Hunt up. Scan comes out to his east, sees no one, and so he will continue to move along with the rest of his squad. On board with Team Rockstar, though, who are gatekeeping a squad right outside of the zone. That bubble will go down. As the drop down comes out from Crummy here, he wants to spot out this squad. Surprised that he didn't try maybe go for a port first, and so that might indicate his entire team will commit onto this as well. They're trailing this squad, making sure they can't get onto the geyser, but one does get out for now, as Team Rockstar now venturing into the ring, try and punish this team. Spots one out in front of him. There's 2 in front of him, gets a good spray, hits for the white armor onto the Gibraltar, but he backs away now, as they were able to get that dive going to get onto the high ground here.
Just great map design overall from Respawn. I mean, that's just a very bad area of the map to be caught in. That geyser allows you to rotate. You don't know if a team's over in that area, so it makes it pretty risky to go and do that. You see those players are already in shambles with white armor, dealing with a team on the high ground. So while it is unfortunate that Rockstar's not able to get that, that's just what I love about the new changes. Not new changes, but the overall changes that they made to World's Edge with adding additional cover and escape routes for you to play around. But we'll see what Zeratrick is going to be able to do now this boy Mercy Only gets knocked. This is how you play this Gibraltar here. You hit him with the bubble, and then you throw the defensive bombardment down, but Serdell sends it past that and makes his way in there perfectly. Hakulo's taken off an off angle, but that's 2 players already down and dead for Razor, and they're already on Hakulo's trail. This is Cooler picking up some more points.
And that's just classic Cooler at this point. But here comes Third Impact. They could get involved in this fight as well. With Balon G, though, low on HP, it looks like they're going to elect to just completely avoid that and not try and take that, because Cooler was just too quick on the trigger. When it comes down to bubble fighting, the call is made so quickly by that squad, and you can see the full commit. Nasky, Serdell, they were all up in that bubble to punish them, despite the defensive bombardment being used. Got right on top of them. It's Sentinels here on the south side of the ring currently. Retzi ported down to try and get an angle on this team, but it looks like they were able to port out to safety as well. So Retzi will not find anything of it, but they still secure this high ground position for themselves here at Sorting.
I'm not going to lie, in situations like that as Wraith, I have taken the enemy portal before and ended up in places that I don't want to be because I forget which portal is mine. So shout out to Retzi for not pulling a me there, and it's probably why I'm not playing, because especially when I don't play Wraith, more of a Pathfinder guy. But I love the way that they're so aggressive on the Sentinel side. They're a great team to watch in the way that they're playing aggressive. But we have a huge fight happening on the edge of Thermal, where we do have our first scan going into round number 3. So we are going to see that this spot is going to be highly contested because it is in the zone. Amazing spray coming in with the scout there from Pau, and they're going to be able to take down a hot 303 team.
That is not easy to do as well. I mean, he was basically shooting directly below him. Hits the Volt Sprays, pulls out that G7 Scout, continues the track. That was beautiful coming out from Pau to recover in that fight. Madness was the first one to go down. You saw Turns was able to snipe him and then finish him off instantly, but they do have that quick mobility now to get Madness back into this. There's a zip line going all the way over to that respawn beacon, so they'll be able to recover as well. They've got plenty of time. It's just a matter of are there any teams in the area that might see this respawn and try to punish them? We'll find out in just a moment. Pau does have to hit the med kit just before he hits the zip back, but he should be safe to do this.
Yeah, this is the power of the Pathfinder too. A lot of people forget that he's so good at getting your teammates back into the zone like this, and Madness is going to be rewarded with all this loot. But the key is, like you were saying, is there a team in the vicinity? Vaxxon's going to do his best to hold this off, because not just the res, overall third party from the amount of fighting that took place, also where the zone is going to pull. So Pau's coming in with the reinforcements, and it looks like that is going to be Third Impact coming in with the aggressive play. The question is, can Madness get his loot in time?
Pau with a massive thermite there actually just stops Third Impact. Here comes the defensive bombardment though from Balon G. No connections, doesn't seem like, as they retake that high ground. Pau once again from above is able to get the knock, but now this is a 1v3. Vaxlong going down. It's all up to Madness, but was he even able to recover anything at all? No. As you can see, he is there in the train tracks, and so he has to just completely get out of there. So CLG getting punished for that res, and one great timing coming out from Third Impact as we join on board with Cooler, who have found themselves in a fight over here by the sorting factory tunnel, as Nasky now will start pushing forward. A great movement there to try and get that high angle, but it's back on over to Third Impact, who finish off Vaxlon, and it's going to be Ziki, who is a kill leader now in the lobby, but another team has shown up as that defensive bombardment was used, but really nothing of it. Third Impact, again, they were able to take that fight fairly well and recover off of that, and so the third party is just completely swatted down. They will survive for now, controlling a nice high ground here in the zone.
Yeah, look at all these zip lines over here. This is a Pathfinder's dream where he has this, and you can take so many different angles from this high ground, and it's going to end up being right in front of him. That drop down spot, a little bit more in the open area, should be where this zone's going to end. So a lot of teams are going to continue to try to pressure that spot. As we look at what Pringles is doing, they're in the tunnel down below. Looks like they're stuck in between multiple teams here.
Yeah, we got Cooler on one side. I mean, that was the team that was on the other side of Cooler. It was Pringles there. And here comes a port out from Sir Del. Not going to be an attempt for a kidnap. Unfortunately, he was getting peeked at the same time. Casellas will go down. Sir Del is playing a dangerous game there as he does get knocked. And so you know that the third party has already arrived. Hundreds is able to get out of dodge. It's going to be Rockstar that are here, being able to get the thirst, and they will be able to finish off Cooler. And that was such a weird fight for Cooler to continue to get aggressive there, knowing that there was a third party right in front of them as well. And it's Rockstar that are the beneficiary of all this loot. They're going to be able to get that gold armor for Crummy. We see the red armor on Matt Pickett as well. Team Intel getting spotted out by Sentinels here. That is not a knock you want to see, but luckily for them, they do have that quick res coming out from Hill. Scanned up once again as Hill will back away. Defensive bombardment comes down. It's going to be Albert Laley getting the knock onto Teen. And being sandwiched between Liquid and Sentinels right now is Team Intel. Hill will have to just go ahead and back up off this and maybe hope that Sentinels and Liquid start fighting each other at this point, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. They do finish off Tempest and Teen, so Hill will be left to rat this one out.
Unfortunate there for Team Intel, but what a great job by Team Liquid there, coming through and not letting Teen survive as he hit his Q. And Teen was so close to getting around the corner, hitting a battery, and possibly being able to add pressure as that Wraith. But now we're looking at Team Flashpoint over here, and please tell me that that's Cupsky.
I have no idea.
Right now, never know.
They are fighting currently in Harvester. The ring is pulling down south to it. The respawn beacon in play over there in the center of the zone. Nestle Pure Life, good angle set up by E-Boy Ronnie. Is not able to land in the shots quite yet. As Third Impact have gotten themselves into a fight with Na'Vi as well. A lot of action here in the mid game now. But this one, looks like both sides are just waiting to see if they can get any kind of opening damage. It's just that peak that's going out. Dracos' arm shield gets broken so quickly with the teams that are holding the angle for now. But you can see there was another squad above Flashpoint. And so trying to go for an engage here is almost a death sentence for either side. And it might just continue to stay a standstill as, again, they're safe in the zone. There's no real pressure quite yet. Maybe when the next zone pulls, they do have the knock onto Blight, and Xenox is able to finish off Team Rice Krispies GS Bird. So he does get finished off. Now Flashpoint are starting to make an advance here as they know that the zone started closing in, and they thought maybe that was the pressure they had to try and force an engagement, but NPL are right outside. We have the defensive bombardment as well off to their west. I don't know if that was Dracos's or not. The bubble was used as well, spotting them out. He's got that R301 once again ready, ripping to fire into that squad, but they've got to be careful again. At any point, they could just get flanked here, so they have to be careful how they play this position.
Yeah, one grenade from the other team would absolutely destroy them right now, but let's see what Sentinels is going to do, because they're in a high ground situation where they could potentially just continue to play this and slide down and be one of the last teams to come through while all the other teams have to fight down below them, which is why they're focusing the other teams on the high ground, specifically the team on top of Snake on the roof there. So they're going to just continue to patrol this area, and having the scans is going to be very, very useful because you're going to be able to see where all these teams are playing inside of that area over towards the bottom right. I was not anticipating this zone to pull over here, but we'll see which teams have picked inside the building, because inside the building is going to be another great spot to hold.
Retzy's starting to set up that port for his squad, but before he does drop down and commit to the low ground, he does keep an eye on the other teams that are over there by Harvester, dropping down now. Oh no, he has no way to get back up. He has to be careful here as he's already dropped down low. He's gotten scanned up. He is literally 1 HP for now, separated from his squad, and Flanker won't be able to get the knock onto him and the finish.
I think that he set his portal for too long, and all they had to do was try to take the roof here and take it last second. So I'm not sure what the plan was, maybe just a little bit of a misclick, but the scan coming out from Elberle was absolutely huge, and just talked about how good his Pathfinder is. Now he switches over to Bloodhound and we see just how good he is in general. But NPL getting into a massive fight over here towards the bubble. They're gonna get taken out, and all hell breaking loose as teams trying to make their way over towards this building.
Yeah, as Senox is still alive for Sentinels currently. They lost Crust in that mad scramble as well. Team Cheez It though, able to play that Pathfinder. Got the high ground here. This was the position that Sentinels wanted to try and grab up. You can see how strong it is. Gives you so many headshot angles as well. Senox finishes off hundreds and secures himself at least the top 4 there, along with some of the kills that they were able to pick up along the way. Team Cheez It though in the zone. They have Team Liquid pinned down on the other side. No, it's Team Rockstar that are here on the other side as a full 3-man. Rakanishu popping that Phoenix kit will be ready. They have 40 seconds left to go to play off of this. They've got that defensive bombardment to use, but we'll see if they do have an interception pylon to play off of on the high ground.
They're already set up inside the building. This is what they do. This is another top 5 coming through. Yeah, they don't have a ton of kills. The Sentinels does have a decent amount, but Flashpoint's so good at predicting the circle. I had no idea it was going to pull over towards this building based on what I was seeing. I was anticipating more over towards Harvester, Thermal side, but they're sitting pretty in there, and there's multiple teams that have to deal with each other. 2 of our partner teams, Team Cheez It on the roof, Rockstar here, Flashpoint's over inside the building, and then you have the Rat underneath.
Yeah, Senox just trying his best to stay alive, but he's in a good spot. I mean, teams, they kind of have to commit onto each other before they have to try and commit onto him, because you don't want to accidentally maybe trade away for that Ret. As Rakanishu now pushes up with that bubble, will cover the door for himself. The team inside Flashpoint don't want to break their own door at this point, but it's Team Cheez It up top, able to get the knocks. Rakanishu will be the next one to fall. We almost have our top 3. There's only one left for Team Rockstar. We'll see if they can survive this one out, but we've got essentially 2 solos here. Does Strictly know? Well, he does have that zip to get back up onto the high ground, but we have almost a heal off situation. I don't know exactly where this ring pulls. It looks like it does pull away out into the open ground, and so it might not be a heal off at all here. As Team Cheez It, they are the ones, they've got the Pathfinder, they have the positioning to try and set up a zip for themselves if they want, and there it is. Senox secures 3rd place for Team Sentinels with that Kraber kill, and it looks like they want to get rid of that last Rat. You can see one of them dropping down onto the low ground. That's Hambino with the PK to finish off Senox. So now they have all their ducks in order. They have to just go ahead and finish off Team Flashpoint inside. What's the play for Team Flashpoint to get out?
Let's see what resources they have. So they have the zip line, which you can't really do. You can put like a fake zip line down, but you're basically going to have to set a portal and try to decide if you're taking the portal or not. So a fake portal this early on could be good, because you could go and hit your Q right now and still get your Q back. And then you have a couple of different options here, because now if you put a portal down, the Watson will have to focus that, and that's going to put her out of position. But you have to kind of try to force something to make these guys try to make a different play. You have 2 doors that you can make your way out of, and then you can lay down a trap for the portal.
Right now you can see Hambino with that PK charged up, ready to just tear into someone and go ahead and drop an armor for himself to have that armor swap. So another fresh red for him, ostensibly playing with an additional 125 HP. Flashpoint don't have that same option. They're the ones that are forced out of this building. A climb up comes out. Nades actually goes down. Rambo with a huge heads up play going up top, and that is going to be the opening for them at this point, as Hambino now will go down, and Flashpoint with a huge play is able to get out there and actually take the win. Congratulations, Flashpoint, first game in the lobby, they take the dub.
That's what they do. They get into end positions and they play situations fairly well, but it was a great play by Rambo, I believe it was, on Watson to go out there, lay down an initial burst on the player on the roof, hit an armor swap over towards the blue armor, and then they come through and get the knock. So no one expects to lose from the high ground in that situation. Great job by Team Flashpoint.
Yeah. So Flashpoint immediately making a huge splash here in game number 2 as they enter in a little bit late. Congratulations to them for taking that win. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, but when we get back, we'll have game number 3 of Series E. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
If I could make any flavored Pop-Tart, and I've said this in the Twitch chat before, in the arena or the esports arena Twitch chat, I would make a pizza flavored Pop-Tart, not a Hot Pocket. It's not a Hot Pocket. Okay? It's different. You harness the essence of the pizza. You extract the flavors from the pizza, and then you inject it straight into the Pop-Tart. And then you surround that flavor with a Pop-Tart crumb surrounding, kind of like a calzone. Still not a Hot Pocket though. Still not a Hot Pocket. And then you frost it with a tomato flavored frosting. Okay, that's like your sauce on the outside, right? This is your pizza flavored Pop-Tart.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Series E as Flashpoint came in as our last-minute substitutes and immediately shook up the lobby. They're taking their first game of the evening, and it was their first game of the evening. Let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard to see exactly where we stand now as Sentinels. You know, despite what they were able to do really there in the mid-game, it was just, it looked like, you know, an error, an unforced error really coming up from Retzi there that ultimately got punished, but they are tied currently for first place with Cooler now, both at 27 points, and they are pulling away from the lobby just a little bit. Flashpoint there, though, taking that victory, immediately skyrocket into the top 4 with 17 points, just behind third Impact, well, in third place with 19.
Yeah, if Retzi doesn't actually accidentally misclick there when he goes and sets that portal, Sentinels very much would have won that game. They would have had the roof. They would have been in the position that Team Cheez-It is in. And I don't think that Sentinels is going to lose that team fight because you're seeing how well they're playing and how well they're shooting right now. Their tracking is absolutely insane. Yeah, a lot of the teams in this lobby are shooting really well too. But let's also talk about how big it was for Senox to get that extra placement and get the extra kill along the way too, which has tied them now for first place with Cooler.
Yeah, that one kill, I believe, nets them 3 overall, 2 from additional placements, and then, of course, that 1 KP. And so that was massive. That is what tied them up. They were first and second place, respectively. Cooler was in first before this game. And so that was massive, and we'll see if Sentinels can keep this up. I think, you know, barring any more, like, unforced errors, Sentinels are looking really good so far. And it's honestly, for them, it's about carrying that momentum, being able to continue that throughout the rest of the night, as we have so many more games ahead of us right now. Well, is there going to be enough time for Flashpoint? If they keep performing like this, I think Flashpoint definitely are within, of course, contention now. As here in Pop-Tarts Week, generally we do try to follow our partner team here. If you guys want to enter the giveaway for, well, basically what's everything on the table, not behind the table as well. And so our great assistant there, he's not part of the giveaway. But if you want to earn all this stuff, just type an exclamation mark giveaway in the chat right now. And who actually made that shirt? That's insane.
Did the horse have 2 legs or 4? I'm not sure. Oh, that's awesome. So going back to 2 teams that I was impressed with from the previous game, I was impressed with Team Rockstar and for Team Cheez-It, putting themselves in a pretty good position. Even though Cheez-It doesn't win that, the presence of mind to go and take the roof there is the correct play, because I would say 80-90% of the time, you're going to go and win that fight. It was just a great job by Rambo peeking out, getting an angle. He won the 50-50, got the armor swap, came up and got the initial knock, and that's what really gives the rest of the team the confidence to go and push out. So everyone just kind of charged out and took advantage of the 2 versus 3. But we have a lot of contention coming through all over the map right now. One of them is Team Pop-Tarts and Nestle Pure Life. We'll see if they both landed at Overlook again. We know Pop-Tarts is.
Yeah, so Pop-Tarts are already in here. They're taking the deep side of it as well, keeping the cliff to themselves right now. But they are a little bit spread out, and so this might indicate that, you know, they are kind of safe to do so. So they might not be getting contested at this point. As you can see, Lucas not even looking around for any pings from his squad, and so this might be a safe drop from them. We'll check in with Nestle Pure Life in just a moment, as they're over here at Sorting Factory. Okay, so Foster's home for, you know, imaginary friends here. Just can't find one. Yeah, they're just running around trying to find anything here, and this is a surprising place to try and contest, because, you know, well, this is where generally we find the Sentinels, and so I'm really surprised that MPL are going to try and take this drop. LG, though, continuing their fight once again with Applejacks, and so that fight will continue to take place, I believe, over at Staging is where that fight has been happening in the last 3 games. Rugby gets a knock onto Klain, so I believe there's only one more left for Team Applejacks at this point, as Ronnie does take some damage himself, but Sonya and Rugby are still full healthy. They're still playing this kind of safe here, as they get the re-knock onto Kenny. Might finish him off very shortly. Na'Vi versus 303, though, once again over by Frag West, and there it is, the final member. They will be able to clean up. Lion was the last one remaining there, as 303 finish off their fight with Na'Vi.
And I want to see where the circle's going to pull eventually, but look at the armors coming in for NPL. The fight now starting to take place. Great Arc Star going to land. Wow, nice slide by Bambino. Means that he's going to escape that damage and the slow, which is even more important there. But a nice bubble coming in for Dracos. Maybe a little bit early for that one. I'm not sure why he put that down. It was a good angle of the bubble, but you see triple white armor here for Sentinels, and they're still going to send it.
Yeah, they do have the R9 Mastiff on Retzi. If he can find himself an armor swap, at the very least, no, he has to pop those cells as Crust starts backing away for now. And it looks like, you know, 303 were able to win out that fight over in Fragment West. But we know that it's going to be Sentinels versus Team Nestle Pure Life. As we get the ring information, it does pull on over. It looks like having that choke point, or over at Thermal Station anywhere, honestly, is going to be very good for them. Sentinels now on the rebound, trying to push up against this squad now, making their way through Banana. You have Retzi leading the charge on that Wraith, checking every single angle here. Of course, they had that early scouting information coming out from the scans, but looks like Nestle Pure Life might have just given up on this fight. They took way too long. They were worried about rotations coming out from Rockstar, from Liquid. It's a good choice for them to get out of here.
Yeah, they could also have to engage based on how hard Sentinels is charging. You see Retzi doesn't want to give up on this. The scans are constantly coming through. The counter scan is going to show exactly where these players are. And now Sentinels has to play this very patiently, but methodically at the same time. You see everyone's going to go and take the roof, which is the right play. Just have to watch the climb ups in these types of situations. All about hitting these scans, and there's so many footprints over here. It's hard to exactly track where the players are. You see the outlines. Retzi's going to go and try to anchor for these guys while Senox and Crust work together.
Yeah, the scans coming out from either side. But again, the longer these engagements take, the bigger the threat of a third party. Senox considered climbing down. He's got the purple bolt on that Massive, so he can lay in so much damage from this close range. Which is why he's playing here right on the door, along with the Hemlock. So a lot of burst damage available for him, but they're slowly just waiting this one out, waiting for any kind of opening. But you have to imagine Nestle Pure Life, they can't even poke out from the doors. They know who's in front of them here. Another scan comes out. You can see two on the door of Retzi now, but with Retzi joining, they might be ready to just go for this here. He's peeking out onto that door.
Nestle Pure Life could easily just send it on them right now with two people out of one door and focus one specific spot, but they're playing this so safe. Maybe because of the fact that they don't have a Mastiff, even 8 with no bolt is a little difficult to deal with. Meanwhile, Rice Krispie Treats finding themselves in a skirmish over towards the tree side. Curious to see exactly what this team is. Could it be Team Liquid that hasn't rotated out? No, it's Pringles coming with the late rotation. Hundreds with the double knock with the Massive. Nicely done by him. Somehow, for some reason, Sunny's going to send this one out. Probably in a 3 versus 1 situation. Almost gets the knock on to Stink, but that's a very, very clean fight coming in for Team Pringles. Meanwhile, knock from 2 Brains, 1 Controller, going to get a knock over onto CLG. Albrily on Liquid, finding one on Reps. Let's hop over to those fights.
Yeah, Liquid and TSM have traded 1 for 1 at this point. CLG are in a world of trouble. LG coming in for the third party as well. And even Flashpoint are getting in on this fight that we are currently missing, as we do have at least information on the ring. It is pulling down south. It is going to go further and further over towards Thermal Station at the very least. LG will get another knock onto Liquid's Nocturnal, and Imperial Howl does get finished off. Will TSM have the opportunity to pick up anything here?
And it's going to be LG putting serious pressure onto Team Liquid. Albrily has to hit a battery. Nocturnal hitting that Phoenix kit while Flanker's already been thirsted. Hit with the frag grenade, finished up with the triple take. Those are the triple take shots coming in as Albrily trying to skedaddle through and save his teammate. Picks up the banner on the way. Nice job by Albrily escaping, and they're going to try to reset, but we'll see if Liquid's going to be hot on the trail. That's why Albrily is going to hit the scan, going to turn around and figure out how they're going to be able to get Flanker back into this game. Completely possible. They're going to have to probably go out of the zone. You can see where that nearest res is. We'll find out if they end up taking that one. But you saw also TSM was down a player throughout all of that too. So a lot of fighting took place. You saw 2 Brains, 1 Controller took out CLG. So a nice job by them. And now Team Razor finding themselves in a fight as well.
Oh, one person caught out in an island here just by himself on the high ground will get taken down. That's going to be Mercy only finding Reps, and both Team Liquid and TSM in a world of trouble as Albralele gets finished off along with Reps. So both of those squads, I believe, are down to a solo. Never mind, Snipe Down will get finished off. So TSM, once again, out early. As we can see now, it's Team Rockstar coming in for that third party. It was NPL and Senox in that standoff, ultimately getting punished, and that's what we were worried about coming out for them. Team Razor, though, now starting to push up. It's LG in their way with that Caustic, I believe, and have this high ground position. Pop-Tarts coming in for the fourth party up against this squad now. Team Rockstar climbing up onto the high ground. The knock comes out. It's going to be Matt Pickett to take out that Fruit Ninja, and Pop-Tarts just were not be able to find the timing on this here as LG are trading away, but Razor ultimately come out on top in this fight, but they have to res themselves. It looks like they do have a mobile respawn beacon to work off of, so they should be able to get him into this.
Mobile respawn beacons are so huge in this type of scenario. Look at the amount of boxes here. And this reminds me of, oh, there's another team coming through. This spot is so contested right now. It reminds me of game number 1. And look at that. It's Hambino coming through with the Kobe onto Hacklo. Zeratricky, last guy alive, hits a blue armor swap. Trying to bubble res here. Is going to be able to get this one off. We'll find out if Hacklo has his Q available to try to get out of here, or if he's going to elect to just heal inside of the bubble. But nice job by Zeratricky getting him back into it. But this is Cheez-It trying to finish what they started. You see the Gibraltar's fairly weak. That's going to be Zeratricky, and they're going to be hot on the tail.
Yeah, we can see that Liquid are still in this for now. Pop-Tarts losing Lucas throughout all of this as well, but Team Cheez-It that we're on board with looking to try and finish this one off. We got another team all the way off to the west there with that charge rifle forcing back. Nocturnal able to secure that kill point for himself, finishing off Lucas here. So Liquid not out of it quite yet, but it's Team Cheez-It coming up the victors in this third party fest. A lot of loot for them to pick up. They got the position settled down with all those Watson traps as well. So Team Cheez-It sitting really pretty, got plenty of armor swaps to work off with as well, with that Watson generator to allow them to heal that up. And so their economy is looking absolutely monstrous. It looks like the team all the way on the western edge, it is going to be cooler here, are considering playing the choke, but now they've also got the option if they want to push this team that's over in the houses. It's Team Rockstar, though, that we're joining on board with, finishing off Team Pop-Tarts. Blight was the last remaining member. He does go down. He gets finished off.
Great shots there by Rakinishu. His tracking with the 2x on the R301 is just phenomenal. And you see they have another team located in front of the train cart, so I'm just wondering if this is a full squad or not. The way that they're running makes me think that this has to be either a rat or a team of 2. And Rakinishu recognizes that the gold helmet here is going to help Rakinishu so much too when they go and try to recover on these bubbles. And that's definitely a rat the way that he's making his way out of there. The portal set, and there it is, the 2x again from Rakinishu. There's no getting away. Jamerson, you're right, that was Nocturnal. Unfortunately for him, not able to rat his way out of there.
Yeah, only getting top 11 for his squad there, unfortunately. We knew the kind of shambles that they were in. That fight that took place all the way over at Thermal Station. They tried to go south for that res, continued to find other teams. Unfortunately, we already knew how many teams were already in that area in the fight over by Tree, along with the fight over at Sorting Factory. So, very unfortunate situation for Team Liquid bowing out early in this game. Team Rockstar, though, having one of the best starts so far for them today. As you can see, Rakinishu sitting on 2 kills, but we know that they've picked up more along the way as well, making it here in the top 10, having a great position, but it's about keeping an eye on their right now. We know there's a full squad over there, and they are well aware of it as well. The Watson traps are there, and with all those boxes, you have to figure, well, Rockstar have to figure there are plenty of armor swaps out. This is not a fight that we can just instantly take. And so they just back off that, and they can just continue to play this choke if they want to.
It makes me wonder what's up with Team Rockstar and how they're able to play so well when the competition and skill rises, especially on Pro Day. They tend to play better when the lobby's full of all pro teams than they do when you add in a couple of open teams. So I wonder if they just have a hard time, you know, maybe taking it seriously, or they're trying new things, having a little bit fun since Pickett likes to troll a little bit. Or if it's just they rise to the occasion and, you know, just buckle down when the pressure gets down. Because yesterday they were really nowhere to be found. They placed the worst out of all of our partner teams. but I'm so glad to see this is how they typically play. And they put themselves in really great positions to win.
Team Razor are out now as 2 brains, 1 controller are coming in for this third party. They already got the knock onto Ziki, but with a nice rock placement there, Ziki will get rezzed up. He's got his Q to join back with his team. Still needs to be careful, but has plenty of cover to work with along with this armor swap for himself. It's a red armor that he picks up. And Balon G, he's the one that's playing Sentinel for his squad. Well, up top as that warden to try and keep basically positioning for his squad to buy space for them, so no third parties coming in to try and punish them on that knock. And so Third Impact are happy with this position for now. It's about what the next ring pull is going to look like. They haven't been able to pick up the beacon for themselves. This one's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's only 9 squads alive, and there's so much action in the beginning of the game, and then there was so many third parties that happened over towards that thermal side. We see pings going down towards that building there. So the way that teams are setting up over here, and the way that team is bunkered in that building, makes you wonder exactly where this one's going to pull. We have to probably go to a team like maybe Flashpoint or 2 Brains, 1 Controller, and find out which god spots they elected to pick. But I like the thought process from Intel. Worst case scenario, they're going to lock down one of these train carts, but they take a lot of damage, which team puts the portal down. The bubble goes down as well, just so they can protect Tempests, and that's what you love to see as a Watson. Both of your teammates already getting your back, so they make sure that you can relocate, because there's no reason to force it right now, again, with so many teams that have already been taken out.
Yeah, I believe the threat of 2 Brains, 1 Controller was right there on top of them. Might have been LG, not quite sure. All I remember is seeing that drone out for themselves at this point. Team Intel, though, sitting in a great spot. They do have flexible position to work off of along with that high ground. And when they need it, that portal should be up once again. A team did try to advance onto their position, really get greedy for that replicator, it seemed like, as Team just laying in with these shots on that wingman. Does have to back away as he finally does get cracked, but he was able to get that purple armor at the very least for himself. Phoenix Kick goes down for him to pick up to keep himself healed up. Right now joining on board with Flashpoints, who are looking to try and make an incursion onto this squad that does have that high ground. Have to be careful here, Rambo. Took some damage. He's got that R301 and the charge rifle to play off of. Here come the nades. They did not get eaten up, it looks like, by a Watson generator, and so they know there's an opportunity for them to try to find an opening with, especially with a good spray like that from the R301. Unfortunately, no one really in position to try and take advantage. No cross angle set up yet until Rambo and company start pushing up to the left-hand side. They've got cover for their generator, but they do still have to worry about the teams on the train tracks. More about now clearing out their back. It's Team Cheez-It here on the other side. They're going to be forced to try and rotate this way, as both chokes now are controlled on either side of them, and so they have to decide, do they want to try and rotate in from the west or from the east? And it looks like, you know, the path of least resistance is going to be here on the west.
Surprised he's not shooting the generator there just to get some damage down onto it so they can take it out. There you go. Destroy that thing. It's over there just giving them shields and helping them protect from nades. So now you're able to push, and the portal already went down. A little bit too late there for Team Cheez-It, but either way, they forced Flashpoint into a situation that they don't want to be. Great snipe from Hambino, 145 to the chest on that player behind the rock. A couple of heals coming through, but Hambino doesn't want to overextend. They know that there's multiple teams in the vicinity, so he's just going to try to reset and take some angles with the Kraber.
Yeah, he's got 3 shots left on that. Kraber does back away for now. And they did this at a very opportune time. And so they leave themselves the option, if they want to try and rotate to the east. And that's what they're maneuvering for now. They're starting to make their way on through. Might even drop it down to try and take the train tunnel if there is someone contesting them there on the eastern side. It looks like they might be just topping off once again, because they did commit a lot of resources into trying to bully that team for now, swapping off onto that massive, as Kraber really only 3 shots left. You know you're gonna have to swap off anyways, and so they will go back towards the west now. They've already cleared this path, but You have to worry about the other teams that are still on the train tracks. We saw Two Brains, one controller was in the area, and along with another squad. Here's Hambino going for a heads-up portal play. As you can see, the Watson traps on their right. It's Team Intel getting pushed on it. If they see the trades, if they know that they are fighting, they could try and push this for now. As Team does get the trade, this is going to be prime third-party central. As Nasky is already getting rezzed up for his squad. Here's Team Cheez-It coming in for that third party, and they do clean that one up. As 303 got involved in that as well. So Team Cheez-It find themselves in a little spot of bottom, but they are the ones that have all the loot. They're the ones that have the armor swaps. And so turns will go down to Hambino. And 303 tried to take advantage, but good heads up play coming out from Team Cheez-It's here. Flashpoint though, still controlling this high ground. Really great position for them.
It's the best little scenario I've seen from Team Cheez-It yet in Series E. The way they were able to recognize the situation to go and third party that, just like you were saying, Jamerson, that was the time to go and do the play. They were on top of it, and then turns, thinking that they were weak, comes in, overextends, but we see 2 to 3 different armor swaps coming in for Cheez-It. They reset extremely fast, and that was a great little minute and a half of Apex there from Team Cheez-It, really redeeming themselves after getting second place in last game, and we'll see if they're going to be able to possibly win this one. Only 7 squads alive, a lot of teams really jockeying for position. Nobody in the perfect spot quite yet. I do like the way Third Impact is playing over towards this hill, but using a defensive bombardment this early into a Watson Gibraltar team, I'm not sure if they have the interception pylon over there or not.
I believe that Balon cracked that, destroyed the interception pylon first, saw the bubble already going down, so the timing on it was good, but an ult Excel might have gone down for them, and Matt Pickett might have been able to put another one down. Rakinishu is the first one to fall, and Bowser from Two Brains, one controller will be able to pick that one up. Here's Rambo, though, getting involved as well, taking out Knocked, so Two Brains, one controller getting punished as well, as they do get the port back to try and get the res onto him. As you can see, Milkman trying to lay down some cover fire for his squad. They clear that crypto drone, but Matt Pickett comes back on in. It looks like Milkman is the next one to fall. And so Team Flashpoint, they were in a great position, but now they are just getting absolutely punished. They are out of the game. Team Cheez-It are still alive. Now as Team Rocks are able to fully recover off the back of that, they've got the high ground to work with as well, along with some cover being provided by these bins and of course that respawn beacon for themselves. They've got another team caught up inside. How aggressive do they want to get in on this? They know that there are still plenty of squads alive right now as Balon G gets the knock onto Tact from 303. Here comes the push out now, using that bubble as well to provide extra coverage, but somehow Two Brains, one controller are winning this one out, as it's all up to Krabi. He's got the massive, he's getting charged down in this 1v2, and somehow they lose it. Two Brains, one controller, maintaining composure, win out the fight. They hit top 4.
Ridiculous play from Two Brains, one controller. Knock has to be going crazy right now, watching his teammates Bowser and Tech completely pop off. Meanwhile, Third Impact sitting pretty on the roof over here. Are there any ult excels in there? There are. Tech's going to be able to get his EMP up throughout all this, which could provide them an opportunity. We'll find out where the rest of these players are. Is it a rat? Or is Third Impact the only full team alive right now? You see a couple of pings going down. One player's over towards the ledge. Let's try to cycle through and find out where this third team is.
Yeah, hitting for that purple with that flatline, has the headshot angle, along with that arm shield to really utilize this angle as well. Having that information, the player is down there. They know exactly where they are at this point. And we have Jazaz will go ahead and peek on over to the right as the interception pylon eating up a nade here. And so it's really a difficult spot to be in when you're on that low ground for now. They're doing a good job of spreading out as the port was created by that Wraith. The drone is coming out, and we might have the EMP. No, it's the res coming out from Two Brains, one controller. Throwing some more chaos into this final circle, what should be the final circle amongst our 3 teams. We do have more than one player down there. Here comes the EMP now. Here are the nades as well, coming in at such an opportune time for them as that interception pylon went down as well. But nothing really came of it, and fortunately for that low ground team, there's plenty for them to work off of. Jazaz getting a lot of damage off here, and really just shooting fish in a barrel. Currently, bubble has been used. No knocks quite yet. Yeah. and they're just waiting. 2 Brains, 1 Controller biding their time. They are hearing the shots outside. They know that they're in an engagement. If they see knocks from either side, that 303 going down. If Jazz or anyone from Third Impact go down, then they are in trouble. As you can see, Zicky's doing a great job of keeping that back covered, making sure that they're watching that door. They do drop down as a duo, and now here it comes.
They got him back in.
2 Brains, 1 Controller. They do have that port there covering the door, and Zicky is right there to play bodyguard. And now take a look at this Third Impact looking to close this one all out. Third Impact take the win here.
I would have lost it if 2 Brains, 1 Controller wins that game. As Knock was trying so hard. You could see it in his screen, the way that he wanted to hit those massive shots and win that game for his team. But what a game coming through. That building provided to be very useful, and we saw all of our top teams that were good at predicting zones getting in there and picking that spot.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a short or longer break as we have hit halftime. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this.
Dude, have you ever gone to the pier? Like, if you go to San Clemente, they have a mud cake. It's chocolate fudge, s'mores, crackers, and caramel. A mud cake Pop-Tarts would be amazing. We need that. Pop-Tarts, they're crazy good!
guys, what's up? I'm Conniekins on Twitch, and I just wanted to say I am the #1 Pop-Tarts fanboy for Team Pop-Tarts for Series E. I love those guys with all my heart, soul, and I wanted to show them how much I love them. You know, obviously I got the shirts, you know, the exclusive merch with the esports arena mascot on the back. In case you didn't get a chance to see it, here it is. That's him right there. If we could get some horse run in the chat, that would be poggers, of course. So we're gonna be trying this flavor. Actually, the flavor is right here. So this is pretzel flavor, if I am not mistaken. So we're gonna eat the pretzel flavor. I think it's really good. I'm actually being informed that don't eat with your mouth full, kids. But I'm actually being informed that this is chocolate chip cookie dough. So I'm even more pleasantly surprised by just the texture of it, you know? I think what's really enjoyable about Pop-Tarts is not only, you know, is it a delicious snack, but I think the Pop-Tarts boys, you know, Fat Fruit Ninja, Blighty, Farmer Lucas, you know, they're just some of those funny and entertaining guys. You know, sometimes I talk to them, I like their tweets. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't, but that's okay. Because those moments they do respond, I'm just always, it brings a smile to my face, you know? It's like when you see a dog and the owner says, yeah, you can pet my dog. Best feeling in the world. But not as good as the as the chocolate chip cookie dough Pop-Tarts. Shout outs to Pop-Tarts, you know. I really like you guys. Hopefully you guys feel the same back. I would if I were you. So I'm just really happy to be here. Thank you guys.
another 3 games here to finish out the night. Jamerson here, joined once again by Tom T Squared Taylor. We've had 3 separate winners across 3 games, and so that means our leaderboards are going to look quite interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look at them right now to see where all of our teams stand. It's Third Impact now in the lead with 43 points. Team Cooler right behind them, down by 11 points in second place, and Sentinels have dropped down to third place at 30 points there, Tom.
Yeah, our EU teams coming in strong here, but 2 Brains, 1 Controller was absolutely hilarious last game. The way they're able to get inside that building, hang out in the corner, get the res, be annoying with the EMPs. And it's been an impressive performance from Team Cheez-It too. Rockstar's coming through and having a strong performance. Flashpoint, I wish they were here for game number 1. Keep in mind, they joined late and they won game number 2. So it's awesome to see so many teams coming through from yesterday's performance and just coming through and dominating today. I was a little bit worried about Rockstar touch base in that when we were casting in game number 3, but this is the performance that we typically see from them. It's nice to see them not contested. It's also nice to see Pop-Tarts during Pop-Tarts week not have a team landing on them on the Overlook side.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the kind of effects of being dropped on your drop, right? So Pop-Tarts, NPL, Applejacks, 3 teams that have been getting contested or contesting each other, and it works towards their detriment. And so we see the effects of the 50-50s and how that does change up things. CLG being in the bottom half of this as well is very surprising, as, you know, they had a good performance yesterday during Twitch Rivals. So you feel like they might be on top of their game right now, but this lobby, we talked about at the beginning of the show, it's absolutely stacked. You cannot let down your guard even for a moment. Just like that, your game can be ended. And just like that already, Claws gets the knock and the finisher onto Tex. So they are continuing their fight over there at West Frag. Pop-Tarts, though, it looks like they have moved on over. No name being taken by Lucas, as it looks like the rest of the squad for Pop-Tarts are over there by Overlook. It's Team Razor who have changed up their drop here when we come into Pro Night, going over to Geyser, and Applejacks are the ones that are contesting them now, as Applejacks have had to give up staging.
Applejacks, knowing the situation, they have not been able to win over there, so they're trying something new. They get the initial knock onto Zeratricky. We'll see what Hackula is going to be able to do. Just a little bit of HP. Klain coming through with the shots. Lion, nasty wingman as well, and Applejacks starting to heat up a little bit, and they're going to take down Team Razor. It's the most important thing, and that's why halftime is good for some of these teams that have been struggling and over towards the bottom half of our leaderboards. Is sometimes it's not about how you're playing, it's more or less about just finding the right spot to land. It's the initial part of the game. It's how you get loot, it's how you rotate. You need a home, you need a place that you could actually land at and feel safe, but a lot of times you end up in crazy situations where you get 50-50'd. There, it's unfortunate for Razor that Applejacks decides this is where they want to land now.
Yeah, and Razor, of course, playing on the fly as well. Typically, we see them over at Skyhook, but with the threat of CLG looming themselves, they decide to not drop over there, taking Geyser, which ended up being free somehow. 3-3 also contests over there at times, going over to Frag West. And so we're seeing how consistently, you know, the Apex metagame has to evolve. Lobby from lobby, depending on who's in there right now. It's Team Cheez-It, though, on the hunt. It has to be Third Impact in front of them. They've been continually getting to these fights for now, as Hambino gets that knock onto Ziki, and this is a point of pride, going for that finisher along with getting that shield healed up once again. So Team Cheez-It now on the better side of this 50-50, taking out Ziki early on. Remember, Third Impact won our last game, and so this is not a great start for them.
And that's still my favorite update to this day in Apex, where you used to only be able to get the armor reset with gold armor, but once that changed, where anybody that got the finisher gets the armor back, just made it so much more fun to finish the people on the ground. And Hambino, you could always just blame it on, is it BM, or was I just really trying to charge my shields back up? We'll never know.
Yeah, the important part there was, though, you know, he didn't go for like the cancel spam, right? And so it might not be BM. It might have really been utility for them, but you never know. That's exactly right, Tom. As you can see, Team Cheez-It going for the complete reset. we do have Strictly off by himself, but he is, of course, on that Pathfinder, so he'll be able to reconnect with his team for now. And you got to imagine, with Third Impact taking that win in that last game, you want to put a slow, you want to slow them down just a little bit. So making sure that they're not able to get this banner could be important for themselves. As here comes the nade out, and here's the push. Nade's taking a lot of damage here, but you have to remember they have the man advantage. They push the bubble. Hambino dropped down low, and he does go down. But here is the backup. They trade 1-for-1. It's going to be a 1v1 now, though. They get one more knock, and they finish him off. It's going to be Strictly to hold it down for his squad one more time and get that res, and they'll be able to reset here. It's Cooler now in the fight, though, as they were trying to finish off. It looks like Freestyle going down for Flashpoint. Yuki is right on top of things here.
What a Thermite.
That Thermite does knock down on to insert Delp. They've got the numbers advantage playing over here, over at Skyhook, though this might be the reason why Razor decided not to drop here. Having this many people contesting them, Flashpoint along with Cooler. You have to imagine CLG in the area as well. They can get involved in this. This is still early on in the round, as the ring is closing now. But it doesn't look like any third parties coming in play. Yuki's going to be able to full heal up. We don't have any scans coming down onto them. They'll be able to regen as well with that Watson generator. It's Team Liquid trying to make the rotate, getting caught out. Albro Laley has to back away on this Bloodhound. Drop down to about 20 HP, but he does have this nice little pocket to work with. We'll get that bat off and then retreat now into the Skyhook tunnel. As you can see, they do have that ring information for us. They run into some caustic traps, not quite what you want to see when you're trying to push up through a choke.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't Elberly that walked into that and took some initial damage without his HP as he was trying to hit a med kit, but nice escape area there, and he's a nice pocket to work with, and they're going to try to find another area to rotate, still in the zone for quite some time, so no big deal. But looking at what Team Cheez-Its been able to do, they've been having an impressive couple of games so far, but not so fast. Team Cheez-It Pop-Tarts on the hunt over here. Now it's up to Hambino to try to stay alive, and you can see in the mini-map he is getting out of there as fast as possible.
You can see the pings coming out as well. Teams recognizing that this ring continuing to pull up to the north. You really want to start playing for these positions now as the defensive bombardment is being used. Still another team coming in, I believe, when we swapped on over just beforehand. Two players from that squad were hit up, and so it is a third party. The scan comes out. It's TSM in the area. They're trying to get involved. His reps has taken so much damage, forced to use that bubble. They do have space to work with, and so he will be able to reset with that bat along with Imperial Hell and back up off of this. Unfortunate for TSM, they committed a good number of resources into that fight and got nothing from it. They have to back away. Reps once again, he does not have his bubble, taking a lot of damage, but does find some cover. We'll see if they can buy enough time for this medkit to go off along with some shield heals, as it looks like enough damage did come across onto Lucas there to slow down Team Pop-Tarts, who were not happy with that third party. But now playing off the rock position, it looks like they will be able to finish off Team Cheez-It. Don't know if the last remaining member is going to be that much healthier at this point. Scan comes out, and they will be able to finish him off. Hambino goes down. Another third party team in position. That might be CLG already positioned over there by that respawn beacon.
And you wonder if TSM's going to hear those shots and want to double back and check out what's going on, making this even more complicated. But we'll see what happens on this side of the map, because you still have a lot of area to work with, and you could pick any which way. You have a balloon not too far away. If you decide you want to go over towards the south side, you could just continue to send it that way, or just wrap around the edge like this, just like the refinery area, and that's a good rotation too. So I like this from Team Pop-Tarts. We've seen them trying to take weird things. We've tried to see them take weird fights, but they're going in with well-timed third parties. They were really bullying TSM out of their spot, and then they also doubled back and made sure that Team Cheez-It doesn't get the banners. So Pop-Tarts really on their game right now.
We saw LG actually being able to finish off Team Liquid, but now they are getting punished by CLG, wanting to go down and get thirsted up by Madness. Good heads-up play as they do give us that ring information, and oh boy, this is a difficult one to call, as it encompasses almost all of Skyhook. Going back on over to the southeast side of the map, though, it's Team Rockstar now slowly, of course, making the rotate up from the map. This is one of the furthest rings for them, going all the way over to Skyhook. When they do drop over at Lava City, it's Pringles getting involved in this fight. Pop-Tarts might be on the other side here, as that high ground position was still there for them. Scan comes out from Casellas as he has that Beast of the Hunt popped. 100 now coming in. They get that first knock onto Fat Fruit Ninja. Will go instantly for the thirst. No, get the knock onto Lucas. And now there's only one remaining member here for Team Pop-Tarts, as Team Pringles are having difficulty finishing him off. There we go. Blight will go down. But they do have to worry about the third party. You can see them instantly retreating while they try and reset, heal up their armors, and back away off that rock. Back on board with Team Rockstar, who have lost out on Crummy. It was clean with the mask getting the knock. Here comes the slide in from that Bloodhound, but he's taking so much damage as Matt Pickett will be the next one to fall. Rakanishi only getting one now left in this 1v2, and he will get finished off by Team Applejacks. It's currently Clay now sitting as the kill leader in the lobby with 4 kill points to his name.
I really love the way Klain plays when he starts to heat up. He gets so aggressive, and Rakanishu gets stunned there, doesn't even realize or get the sound cue that Klain was sliding behind him with the Mastiff. Let's give props to Stink, though. He was able to finish all 3 players from Team Pop-Tarts. TSM still in the vicinity, reaping some of the benefits of that loot from that fight, but you couldn't really find out who was, making the damage coming through from Team Pringles. But either way, Stink finished all 3 of those kills, got those. And Klain really starting to heat up too. So it's nice to see Applejacks starting to find a landing spot again and get into the groove of things. And we've seen this, Jamerson, before, where they lose 50-50s, and the game they win the 50-50, they actually go to win the game. So Applejacks is an interesting team.
Yeah, it's a team that really does play off the momentum extremely well here. TSM, though, just trying to play vultures, picking up additional loot from the third parties. We saw them just beforehand, of course, forcing off Team Pringles with the threat of the third party. And so I don't know if Pringles were able to recover anything here. We have another team, though, up on the northern side that is not, I can't believe that's CLG. I imagine CLG were still inside Skyhook the last time we saw them. And so we'll check in with that squad in just a moment, though. It's currently Snipe Down we are on board with, as they're trying to get some information, trying to keep the eastern edge of this zone locked down here, trying to find any fights on the edge. They've been trying, like I said, to find these third-party opportunities, but unfortunately, they keep coming at just maybe a second or two late. So we see how timing is so important for these edge zone squads. As you can see, Team Pringles were able to fully recover. They've got a fight in front of them now. Hundreds pushing up into this bubble. He's already thrown that Arc Star in. And it's a full team engagement. It's Applejacks on the other side. They do port out of this as Klain has to back off. He's got that gold armor, so the cells will get him back up to helping real quickly here, as they are allowed to try and go for the reset. But here's TSM now getting involved in the third party. They've already got 2 from Applejacks, but have they bitten off more than they can chew? TSM finish off Applejacks, but where is Pringles during all this right now? As it looks like TSM finally find their window to get in on the third party and pick up all those kills.
Very nice job by TSM. You were just talking about the timing, and they finally are able to get the big payoff by getting 3 free kills as Applejacks had the portal. They used all of their resources. You saw the complete send from Pringles, like absolute psychos. Hundreds walking into a bubble with 3 players, and then you see his teammates just slide in right behind him and go, "We got your back, man." And TSM just comes through with the pinch. So unfortunate, that's how Applejacks' run ends. But again, you could really start to look at all this real estate and try to push out of this specific spot. And TSM wasn't ready to do so. They wanted to really clear out the area. They knew teams were in the vicinity, and you saw pings coming down from Snipe Down. So they were just on the hunt, and it looks like they're on the hunt again because they want to clear out this entire side of the map.
Yeah, NPL basically in a crash course to meet up with TSM, who were starting to rotate around this way. They did not want to try and play for the north. They know there was a team that was already there. It's Team Intel here on the north side of Skyhook. I believe they might have CLG quite possibly below them. Here's Hill pushing in. Big shot with that PK, hitting for the 121. And here's the backup now as they want to try and get this finish off. They do throw in a nade. Never mind, it might just be LG, actually. The remnants of LG here. Support has been used. On the other side, it's actually Cooler below them. So big fight here as Nasky is able to actually take control of the roof for Cooler. And this is going to be a very important point for them as Intel now have to have abandoned that high ground position. Nasky going for the peak, does back away. Beast the Hunt popped for Yuki here, giving him the scans, and he knows that there are other teams in the area, so they have to be careful in how they engage here. The port is going to be utilized once again, but they are out of it. Looks like it was a kidnap attempt gone awry here, as it's Nasky holding it down on the roof once again. He was the one that was able to swerve his way up and gain control of it. It's LG playing as a duo here on the western edge, and it's unfortunate they lose out on Ronnie. They still have Sonya up. Playing as a duo is still difficult, especially with so many teams alive in this lobby.
Yeah, there's a lot of real estate to be owned, though. You still have that whole top middle area, which I think 3 or 4 teams could share that spot just alone. So you're not in that bad of a spot here if you're LG. Maybe if you have a mobile respawn beacon, you could go and try to grab this banner, which looks like Rugby's making his play right now. Grabs the banner and takes a lot of damage, still has the Q, and Sonya's there to help. So nice job there by LG, making sure they could try to get Ronnie back into this game. But no respawns in the vicinity. They're going to have a beacon here, and now we see where the pull is. And that's why that top middle area on your map is such a nice spot to hold. You have control of all of the, basically, gatekeeping this whole west side, and there's no option besides just to walk right into there. So all the teams going to really start to fight it out and duke it out.
Very good defensive hold coming out from LG as the squad was looking to full send it onto them right now, but you can see the defensive capabilities of having that Caustic here, especially when you set up the traps and have Rugby holding down really good angles, watching of course that window, multiple windows as well, as it looks like that team is going to go ahead and give up on the chase. Bubble has been used and they have thwarted this attack. Very great play coming out from Rugby, but he's forced to use that Q once again. The team might turn around on them here at this point, cracking him as there's another minute left before the zone starts closing on a slower side of the circle. And so you can see on the other side it was Team Rice Krispies that were trying to full send it onto them, but they are now starting to prioritize on their rotation here. Do not want to get up in a long, protracted fight up against LG and that Caustic, trying to ping out locations for themselves. And like you mentioned, Tom, there's plenty of real estate to play off of, plenty of buildings with multiple levels. It's TSM now getting into Skyhook as NPL getting into a fight up against Team Pringles. Pringles once again come up on this. TSM had an opportunity to try and come in for the third party. It looks like they are considering turning around for it as they were pushed back. But here's the port for Imperial Hell to get them into the zone, and they are safe. So now they have the opportunity to just hold the angles to the southeast as Team Pringles tries to rotate in.
This zone's going to end right in front of where Cooler is. So this building is phenomenal. I'm pretty sure it ends right where those fences and that low ground is. But a lot of these teams are going to still be in on this building too. So this is a very, very fun zone to play. And now I recognize where this pull is. But like you said, multiple levels to so many different buildings. This is the power of the Bloodhound. You're able to just hit these scans, find out if anyone's charging. Not only that, it just scares players for a couple of seconds because you get that extra tracking from the scan. So it really slows down the push just in general. As we take a look at a team that's in another powerful position, that's going to be Sentinels. They're pushing on a Team Pringles. Meanwhile, Cooler, they're going to get a fight with CLG, and now the teams that were sharing the buildings don't want to share any longer.
Yeah, you need to be able to maintain this position, especially because the ring does pull away very far north, and you're absolutely right, pulling away now. Is going to be TSM, though, coming in for the third party, and Reps gets punished. And Pringles are out. TSM have lost one for now, but can they battle back up against Sentinels? They can. Here's the third party instantly, though, as they try to get involved. It's going to be Team Rice Krispies coming in for that fourth party to finish off TSM. TSM going down in top 9. They did pick up a number of kill points along the way, but it's the placement points that you also need to compound that with. And unfortunately for them, they just have not been able to pick those up across the last 4 games now. It's Rice Krispies that are able to win out this fight, have all the loot to work with as well, and clear out the southeast side. Cooler versus CLG, though, as never mind, it's Flashpoint. here in this fight. Freestyle, the first one to go down as Milkman is forced to just use that bat for now and can push up here as they don't want to go for the rest quite yet. Give away that sound cue as they get pushed now. Pal coming in with that massive, and they will be able to clean up Flashpoint. Flashpoint going down in top 8. CLG pick up a number of kill points here. As you can see, Pal has 2 for himself. He's been doing a standout job on this Pathfinder for his team. Here's Team Rice Krispies coming in for the third party though on this fight. Instantly in the door. They trade 1 for 1. Zung has gone down, and now it's all up to GS Bird in 1v2, and oh no. Oh, Rice Krispie Streets were not able to just find that timing. Just we're a second late on that here. Zone is closing in as well. Stunny. We'll see if GS Bird can get in here for the fast rise, but he still has a team in front of him. This is such an unfortunate position for Team Rice Krispies to be in. They found a great third-party timing. Now GS Bird is getting focused down. That might be, it looks like it was LG on the other side to finish them off. No, it was actually CLG, and then LG finished them off as 2 brains, 1 controller is still involved in this now as knocked once again. The bane of CLG's existence, finishing off Pow here. 2 brains, 1 controller, like you said, Tom, with that late game information, really playing for the circle, activating really later on, picking up these kill points when they need to.
Yep, this is, again, just the power of the brains. It's amazing how well Bowser and Tech predict the circles. This zone is exactly what we knew it was. It was ending right in these fences. Tech's going to go and take the high ground here on the roof, which is literally an unstoppable position. The only thing that would really stop them is if Bowser doesn't have any ult excels. And Nox going to elect to try to play the fence here, but you don't even really have to play the fence. You could play the roof to the next building and then drop there. So as long as they just execute this, this should be a free win for 2 brains, 1 controller.
Yeah, it looks like they're just taxing over on loot, allowing them to safely do so and get back with the portal. They still have that option to play the roof of the diner as well. Lots of medkits going across. We still have 20 seconds here as Tech is going to go for another fishing trip, hunting expedition here to pick up more stuff for his team, and that's why that port is so important for the squad. They will have, of course, the Watson traps to stop anyone from going through that portal for now. So it looks like Cooler are contested. There's a squad on the 2nd floor of this diner. The elevator shaft is in for now as Nasky tries to go for that peek. He does have that arm shield to keep him a little bit tankier in this fight. It's also 80 damage off from having that red Evo shield for himself. It's Intel now making their move here as they do give up that position. They do use that bubble early on, and they just have a small sliver on this side of the fence to work with. This is actually quite a nice position for them.
It's not bad, to be honest. They're in a good spot as long as the rest of the teams focus each other, but everyone's playing this so smart and methodical that they're sharing so much space. 5 squads, and the majority of them are full, but there's the first knock. It's going to be Serdell getting, a nasty nade around the corner is going to drop all of Team Intel. They got rid of that interception pylon. 2 brains, 1 controller makes their move and takes the roof as expected over towards this building. And this is what we were worried about for Bowser. If they didn't have the interception pylon, this is the one thing that would stop them from being on the roof. But they have that. Well played, nice timing, and good execution of saving your resources here for 2 brains, 1 controller. Tech can opt to get into his drone here, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to be able to scout out exactly where the rest of these teams are. So this is perfect execution for 2 brains, 1 controller, and that has to be so annoying for the other teams.
This is also just one of those squads, like you said, plays so well off of that crypto information, but Tech is able to safely do so just because he knows that he can rely upon Noct and Bowser to hold it down. I mean, we saw, I believe, Bowser put up a clip where he 1v3s a squad while Tech is just in his drone the entire time. And that's the kind of intrinsic trust that they have in each other. They've been playing together for so long now at this point. Here comes another defensive bombardment. Do they have an ultimate excel for a thing at this point? It doesn't look like they do. So they take some damage, but they will be able to tank it for now. It actually came out a little bit early here as they'll have time to heal up before the zone even starts closing. And so nothing really coming of that defensive bombardment as Cooler, we're making an excursion out into the next ring with 7 seconds left to go. The ring will start closing in. They do have the port. to try and bounce around for that. Let's take a look at what Two Brains One Controller do here as the EMP is being set up. As you can see, Two Brains One Controller tech already knows that he wants to use it. He's already dropped down his armor for a long time now, so he'll be able to re-pick that one up. As Yuki gets the first knock, Navi goes down. That's going to be Max Strafey to go down next as Claus gets finished off. Sir Del will fall, and Nasky is coming up huge, but Noct is still in this for now. He goes down, and LG as the two-man secure the victory here in game number 4.
What a job by LG with just 2 players getting to where the zone was, avoiding a lot of what was going on. And you saw a great play from Two Brains One Controller. Everything was timed correctly. They hit the EMP. They got rid of a lot of the caustic traps that were over there. Noct was even hitting his shots, but somehow, some way, LG comes up with a dub. Great job by them.
Yeah, that's crazy because not only are you playing as a duo, but like you said, the direct counter was right there, the EMP to come out and everything. So it was very unfortunate timing for them. Just dropping down into that mess when you have those 4 squads coming down to the final circle. It's anyone's game. LG were just able to play that low ground extremely well. Cooler got caught up in the mess and tangle and everything. So congratulations, LG, taking that win. But man, we are having such a standout performance from a lot of our EU squads here in Pro Nights. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, but when we get back, we'll have game number 5 of Series E. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
If I could make any flavored Pop-Tart, and I've said this in the Twitch chat before, in the arena or the esports arena Twitch chat, I would make a pizza flavored Pop-Tart, not a Hot Pocket. It's not a Hot Pocket, okay? It's different. You harness the essence of the pizza, you extract the flavors from the pizza, and then you inject it straight into the Pop-Tart, and then you surround that flavor with a Pop-Tart crumb surrounding, kind of like a calzone. Still not a Hot Pocket though, still not a Hot Pocket. And then you frost it with a tomato flavored frosting, okay? That's like your sauce on the outside, right? This is your pizza flavored Pop-Tart.
Welcome back, guys, to Series E as we are getting ready to hit up game number 5 now. We've had no repeat winners tonight, and and that's very important, and especially in a night where it is a shorter format where we only have 6 games instead of the usual 8 that we have on our open registration night. And so things are really starting to get down to the wire now, but it's still anyone's game at this point. No one really walking away with the lead. And so our middle of the pack teams still have a chance. So let's go ahead and take a look at who's in the running here. Remember, only the top 2 place in the money for this evening, $500 spread out. And that's the spread that we're looking at. Cooler Esports take back first place. They've got 44 points. Third, Impact right behind them, with 2 brains, 1 controller trailing behind as well. Not that far off is Luminosity, Sentinels, Cheez-Its, Pringles, Rockstar. All of our teams still have a chance to win this one out, Tom.
They really do, and even a team that's over towards the bottom right-hand side, like Team Razor, Na'Vi, Team Pop-Tarts, they can still put it together too with 2 back-to-back big games. But now's the time to really step it up, and it's been EU all day. They've been dominating, Jamerson. The only team from the EU area not to win one so far is Na'Vi, so I feel like they're up next.
Yeah, and so Na'Vi are close. I mean, close relatively in this lobby. I mean, 16 points, right? Even though they're 28 points behind Cooler Esports with 2 games left. That's definitely a gap that you can make up at this point. And so we'll see. Na'Vi, they've been getting into those fights, and we were talking about it. Of course, we talk about it often here for Apex Legends. Those 50-50 fights early on, it does work towards the detriment more often than not for both teams. And so we'll see if they can bounce back from that. Turns has been doing an amazing job of really shutting them down in that Na'Vi versus 303 fight. I just saw one of the clips as well from Turns that he posted on Twitter. But this week, it's Team Pop-Tarts, and we're seeing them really having to adjust to this lobby so far, getting themselves, again, when teams are adjusting to the edge style, they end up biting off more than they can chew, and that's been the story of today's games for Team Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, and Sorting Factory is somewhere that got contested last time, but now Pop-Tarts, we know they landed over towards the Overlook side, and the team that contested them was the team that went over towards Sorting last time. It was Nestle Pure Life. And speaking of Turns, I think he heard you, Jamerson. He's going in again onto Na'Vi.
Yeah, Turns, when he is popping off, he is popping off, honestly. He's had a strangely prolific career for someone we don't talk about enough. Right, had a good run with Pittsburgh Knights, and then of course teaming up once again with Six. Did you play with them for a little while? I'm trying to remember.
I did. We did pretty decent at Twitch Rivals. I think we only got a chance to play 3 games, and we did really well.
Yeah, and so I mean, this guy is just an absolute grinder. And he has been showing up today in these 50-50s up against Na'Vi, and that's a tough thing to say, Na'Vi definitely a strong EU contender, but it's been Turns who's been shutting down, finding the opening frags in a lot of these fights now. Here's Max Strafe swinging in with 2 Arc Stars, hits for Flesh. Now he's on the hunt for this Wraith, who does queue on out to try and get back to safety, but that leaves Nesh lying in wait. It's going to be Fury to finish him off, and it's all up to Max Strafe in this 1v3. He's got a Gibraltar in front of him, and that is, of course, Turns, who does go down, but Fury is there to back him up, and they will be able to get the res onto him. We'll see if the third party comes into play here, but it looks like they should be safe for now. I don't see any scans on top of them, so the early warning sign's not there, and so they are safe. Turns will be able to get that armor swap, and it's going to be 303 once again, winning out in this 50-50.
Yeah, isn't it funny? That's the meta we're in. It's, am I getting third-partied? Well, I don't see a scan, so I think we're good, all right? So they're going to just reset, but it was Turns again. He got the first knock. He got the second knock. It looked like they were trying to put some sort of play on that building together, but there was another nice bubble by Turns, too, which stopped a couple of those Arc Stars coming through, and then Fury baited them in and made Max Strafe take it off angle there. So we see what's going on over towards this never-ending battle that Third Impact and Cheez-It and a handful of other teams find themselves in. Oh my gosh, great spray there with no mag on the Volt coming in from Zeke, and not able to track that player as nicely, but still that initial damage is more than enough for them to send it.
Yeah, Team Cheez It, they are a little bit separated. You had 2 on the high ground as they are taking so much damage now. Strictly has been cracked. He will go down. Here's Third Impact making their push into it, and they will be able to finish off nades, and Strictly gets thirsted. Here's Hambino trying to come back. He does get the 1 knock onto Balon G, but it's still a 1v2 up against him here, as he will be able to get the thirst, but instantly Ziki is here to punish him for that. The Q is going to be used by the Wraith to try and get out of here, but Hambino can't have that much more HP left in him. That's going to be 1 more bullet to finish him off. Third Impact, they need to instantly move for that respawn. And as you can see, Jazaz is already there to get Balon G into this. Now Ziki, before even healing up, he's keeping an eye on the surroundings here. They're afraid of the third party coming in and already spotting it out. That might be TSM rotating on up to them. As you can see, Ziki getting shot from his right. Has to be careful. Backs off for that bat. The balloon is being used by that player here, and it looks like they are saved by the grace of whoever this fourth party was trying to get involved in this. And so Third Impact do recover. They do get Balon G back into this. He'll be able to loot up. They'll also pick up all the loot that Cheez It had as well.
Yeah, and let's find out where Team Pop-Tarts is throughout all this, because they could be that team that's in the house. We know that they land at Overlook, and if they're playing zone and getting scans or have any type of awareness towards where this one's going to pull, aka not playing the edge, then they should be in this vicinity. And I believe they are making the rotation now.
Pop-Tarts were there on that south side, but they're starting to back away with that scan, with that information. They understand how important it is to hold these rocks here. We've been seeing this circle time and again, at least once a tournament, where it comes out to these rocks. You can see defensive bombardment going down over at Overlook, and so they're trying to get involved in this as well. It's Team Applejacks up in a fight. Don't know who's on the other side of this. Kenny taking a lot of damage there. Does have to be careful. Scans out for his team. It looks like they do have a squad kind of pinned down here, but here is TSM getting that first knock onto Klain. Lion with a decent shot, but his team Pop-Tarts now getting involved in this third party situation. TSM do finish off Applejacks without losing anyone, but did they take much damage? We'll find out in just a moment. Pop-Tarts now trying to make this push. You see the bubble coming out from that Fruit Ninja as he gets a good thermite out. There is the port used, or they can use it to get out of here, but the scans, it looks like they're just caught up on the backside. Nade out. Unfortunately, you cannot cook the nades. It's Flashpoint of all teams here. They're stuck inside. Imperial Hell coming in from behind. That Fruit Ninja goes down. Lucas will get finished off, and now Pop-Tarts, they only get the 1 knock onto Rambo as Blight does back away from this, but he's got another person on the other side here, and TSM looking to finish off Flashpoint. They are raring to go. You have awoken the sleeping dragon of TSM. It's Rice Krispies in a fight up against Sentinels, though, just north of Sorting Factory, as Retzi just overextending, but he does go down and gets finished off. They do have the rest to work with right here. They need to get Senox back up in this NPL. Already down 1 member over here at Frag West. Not entirely too sure who they're fighting at the moment. Might be 303. Could still be in the area. Dracos does have to back away off that door. Has a Gibraltar underneath him as well. E-Boy Ronnie needs to find a way out for his teammate here. They also need to recover Bambino's banner. This is such a tough spot to be in, especially when E-Boy Ronnie gets taken down low, gets knocked by that thermite as 303 is coming in for that third party. Zeratricky will go down. Razor are in a tough spot now as 303 come in for the great timing here. Hakulo getting finished off, and now 303 just reset at the offset of this as we join back on board. It's going to be Team Rockstar starting to push up on, I believe, Sentinels here. No, it's Team Pringles that get caught out. Casellos will go down as it's just non-stop action here in game number 5.
Yeah, it's been third party after third party. Teams have been hunting each other down. Rakinishu going to come in and finish off the 2 knocks that they had, and now you just have hundreds alive on Team Pringles. So nice job by Team Rockstar with the timing. And going back to that fight with Pop-Tarts and Flashpoint, TSM getting involved too, it seemed like a great idea by Team Pop-Tarts. Ended up just being a horrible idea because you were over towards Overlook and you leave thinking you're going to go third party. and then you don't get the third party, you come back trying to third party over towards where you're at on the overlook side, and because you feel like you haven't really done much this game, you start to overextend and forget that you're in one of the best positions overall, and then they get eliminated. So nice job by TSM, and I'm not even sure if TSM decided that they wanted to push over towards where Flashpoint was because they don't want to get third partied either. So now we see what Cooler is going to do, and the ever popular hill where all the rocks are over towards this epicenter side, a very powerful area to lock down, especially if you have a scout. But Sirdell, since he's playing on that Wraith, we do see Flashpoint going in now. It's going to be Nox coming in from both sides. Hal looks like he's the last guy alive. Let's hop on over to TSM.
Yeah, we'll see in just a moment here as Cooler again just holding position on the northern side. Snipe down was finished off, but it looks like they will be able to get this kill. But it's a third party already coming in. TSM now. It's Team Intel. Teen getting that first knock. Imperial Hal with that wingman. It just was not enough. Instant reset here as the res comes out. Unfortunately, though, you know, they don't go for that fast res. Hill could have gone for that. They could have reset quicker here. Defensive bombardment was used just in case. Just in case the 7th or 8th party at this point comes in on this building, and ultimately it's going to be Team Intel that are going to sit quite pretty here. A lot of loot for them to pick up, and we'll see if they have the time to try and move up towards the rocks to the north of Overlook to play off of. They have that Watson. They can control a lot of ground there, and she's going to be crucial for the holding of that hill.
I'm curious if TSM had to take that fight, because that's exactly what we're talking about, was Flashpoint and TSM. Were they going to get challenged the same way the third party came in with Team Pop-Tarts? And it did. Intel was ready to capitalize on it, so we don't know if TSM was stuck in between a rock and a hard place and really had to take that fight because Intel was forcing him into it, or if it was just, hey guys, like, let's just go and do it. We feel like we have Arc Stars. We feel like we're a better team. Let's push our advantage. But now we see how many teams are actually in the Overlook area, Jamerson. You have Liquid just chilling with Kraber, not really showing too much of a presence as Nocturnal not going to spread away from his team because he does have that Wraith Q ready. But this is where we see the zone pull a lot of times. It could pull over towards the rocks. It could pull over towards those yellow tank areas. It could also pull over by this blue truck. So there's a couple of different spots here, and we'll see very soon when someone gets a scan for us where this next zone's going to pull.
Yeah, what I'm excited about, though, is Albralele on Liquid right now. He's the one who's got the Kraber, I believe, in his hands, and he has the angle swapping over to Cooler, though. They're in a high ground fight, Hill versus Hill, as the defensive environment is going to go down from Nasky. Got a team in front of them as LG have found the fight, but it's 2 brains, 1 controller right now. No connects until that one, and you can see Del instantly going to go ahead and send it in with that portal for his squad. We'll drop it down now, as it looks like Liquid are starting to move in position, come in for that third party. They don't want to fight over there anymore, but they have not been able to find a knock quite yet. They are slowly closing that ground, and it doesn't look like that Cooler were really able to take advantage of the damage they put down here, as Albralele does spot one out below. Quick flick hits that shot onto Tech, and Nocturnal will be able to finish him off. Another connect coming out from Albralele. It's just unfortunate. Everyone's got the blues and the purples, and he hits another. Albralele gets the knock onto Madness. CLG trading away, taking out Yuki as well. Third Impact have gotten involved in this fight as well. Ziki is close by. He's got that Mastiff, and as you can see, Liquid, they know that there are too many teams in the area. There's too many variables, and so they're going to be happy with just picking up the additional kill points there. Albralele doing a fantastic job with this Kraber.
Yeah, shouldn't he have, like, not only red armor, but, like, platinum, diamond, like, Beskar armor at this point because of the fact that he's hit so many Kraber shots? Like, what's going on over here? Third Impact, though. They're fighting over towards the epicenter side, and oh my gosh, great spray there coming in for Balloon, but now Fury has to dip out, and that's a very tough angle to take, but they were able to get the kill. Nice job. Meanwhile, while all this has been happening, LG is picking people apart with sniper rifles, just like Albralele is with the Kraber. He finds another knock there onto Crummy, and now we get a chance to see exactly what LG's been doing. Sonya on this Caustic with the longbow has been putting in serious work, but finally Pickett is going to slow down the TSM Albralele montage just going on. Just ridiculous plays from Albralele.
Kraber just hitting different, but they've got the fast res, and he's right back into things here as they are getting naded out. They've got to be careful as the bubble comes out, but here's Team Razor pushing up on top, and oh no, Liquid. It was actually Intel pushing up on there, and they just completely wiped them out. They kind of forgot about the Intel threat. They were just biding their time, I believe. They were inside that big building, and they were able to push up. And despite the amount of knocks that, you know, Team Liquid were able to pick up off the back of Albert Laley's Kraber play, they just kind of let down their guard. They took a lot of damage there. You saw the nades coming in as well. So great heads-up play coming out from Intel. Now they are the kings of the hills, ultimate winners of Overlook here. But another squad has shown up. Never mind, I might have spoken too soon. Matt Pickett, never mind, actually. I don't think he ever recovered the banner, so it's just a solo himself. The triple take, putting in a lot of work for Matt Pickett, but here come the nades now. We'll see if he can get the thirst. He's going on up. He wants the kill points for his squad. He actually recovers the beacons of his team. Great play coming out from Matt Pickett, as he does have to be careful. He does have the Watson traps, and now he can back away and rest them if he wants. It's going to be a difficult one right there out in the open. He's trying to check all of the boxes for any additional heals, whatever he needs at this point. But man, Matt Pickett really could go huge.
If
he would be on the other side.
Yeah, if he goes up to that north side, he may be in, and I think he's just checking for mobile respawn beacons. And he does have that res over towards the side, so we'll see what just a lonely little Watson can do. We can see the great crouch peek shots from behind the wall, using multiple head glitches there for Pickett, making it difficult for that team to see them. But man, Rugby and LG, Ronnie coming through, finishing off a player from third impact. They've been really putting in work, and this is one of these impressive performances for LG that you love to see.
We see the ring continuing to pull over to the rocks. The trains cars are still in the zone as well. LG, they've got the port, and so they can make the play for that positioning at this point, as now they have really good high ground control currently over the area here. We don't know exactly how many teams are in their direct vicinity, but take a look at the lobby, by the way. 7 squads, 14 players, so a lot of teams are playing a man down. We know that currently Matt Pickett is playing as a solo, but how many other teams are damaged is the question here. Do we have any more rats in the lobby? We'll find out in just a moment, but LG, it looks like they will be able to just walk this one in. That crypto information being extremely as important as you can see it. It will be that train cart ending on the low ground once again, and LG are sitting pretty. Rugby doing a great job of just walking this up for his squad. Intel holding the back, having to worry about Matt Pickett behind them this entire time.
Yeah, Pickett's been a nuisance, and they don't realize that it's just one player as Pickett hits the res. Are they going to be able to find the loot over towards the sniper tower? Did they land in the tower? Can they land in the tower? Maybe there's a couple boxes over towards the bottom, but look at Intel just scrambling all over the place while Pickett's laying down some cover fire over towards the top. It's going to be Rakanishu trying to fly his way over towards the top. Not going to happen. Meanwhile, Crummy was able to recover some loot, so nice job by Pickett, at least getting one player on his team back into this one. And Jamerson, they really don't have that far to rotate. It's just going to be difficult without that bubble for Rakanishu, but they're hitting the res on him. They haven't finished him quite yet.
Oh boy, they actually get the res, but Matt Pickett has to drop down from that high ground. We'll see if Intel full send, and they do. Crummy gets a knock onto Tempest, and they might have just overextended at this point, as now Team, his armor has been cracked. Defensive bombardment is coming down from Hill to back up his retreat, as Hill has picked up another knock, and it's Razor's Mercy only coming in, getting the knock on to Matt Pickett. Crummy will try his best to survive throughout all of this, but we'll see if they can crawl in with the zone. They are on the slow side, so that is their current saving grace, and there might actually be an opportunity for Crummy to get the res onto them. Rakanishu is in. Matt Pickett is bleeding out, though, and there he is. Crummy gets in.
There's no way that Rakanishu is able to make it right there. He needs to give Pickett some crawling lessons, but Pickett was most likely on the edge of the zone. Not enough time for the res, though, as that team is going to finally collapse on him, but it was still just a great job by Pickett starting this one, and unfortunately, Crummy most likely going to be taken out here fairly soon. Somehow, miraculously, lives over towards this corner just for a couple extra seconds, gets the battery off, but now everybody recognizes this, and there's the scan. That's going to be all it takes for that one to come to an end. Jazaz gonna pick that one up from third impact, but either way, valiant effort. We'll tip our hat to pick it for that one.
Now, Team Intel, they started up with the man advantage, with the equipment advantage, really overall. Did fall back to this hill, but as you can see, the ring does pull away from them. We got that information from LG earlier on. As not entirely too sure what Hill's doing for us there, twirling around like a ballerina on the Gibraltar, and LG have secured their position here. I believe 2 brains, 1 controller not in this. If I'm keeping track correctly, and so they don't have to worry
They
about.
did get taken out by LG earlier. They may have 1 rat or something along those lines, but I do think that it was Sonya picking off 2 players of 2 brains, 1 controller in the kill feed earlier.
Yeah, so that's going to be massively important here. LG, can they win back-to-back? They took game number 4 as they do. This time around, they've got the full complement of ultimates and abilities to work with. Rugby getting his way up towards that Wraith as Prowler in the hands of Sonya. He is ready to play off this. Having that DT can be important. Might want to swap that one off as you already get the information through the smoke, through the gas. As you can see, a lot of fighting going on. It's going to be CLG versus Team Intel. Intel goes down. CLG picks that one up. Razor's Mercy only will be the next one to fall. CLG are in the other train card. This was the team that LG were eyeing as Sonya will finish off Zera tricking. So it's our final 2 squads. EMP coming in. Now Madness has forced a bats now as he was cracked. We'll see if Vax and Pal can hold the line for his squad. They do just try and get in on this, and they've created enough confusion. Is it going to be enough? It's Pal, the only one alive for CLG. LG will take game number 5 back-to-back with this composition for them. That is massive coming out from one of our European representatives.
And we see the exact reason they're playing this team composition. They're picking their spots. The Caustic play from Sonya was phenomenal that game. They had sniper rifles just pushing people off, just charging up their Evo shields so they have red when it comes to that end game fight. They're picking up kills along the way, but they are able to get rid of that interception pylon that Vaxlon put down, and the Caustic gas came down immediately once Madness took his portal. They realized with the EMP it slowed him down and it stopped Madness from being able to hit that portal as fast as he was hoping for, and LG with the presence of mind to send that immediately. That's why they win back-to-back games.
CC, AoE, absolute control and dominance coming out from Luminosity Gaming to take 2 games in a row here. That's going to shake up the leaderboards massively. And so we're going to take a short break. When we get back, it'll be the final game of the evening here at Series E. Don't go anywhere. You do not want to miss this last game. We'll be right back.
My name's Lucas, and I play Apex Legends for Team Pop-Tarts. If I could make any flavor Pop-Tarts, I want a sweet corn flavored Pop-Tart. You know, around here in the Midwest, we have this beautiful sweet corn, and then you got this nice flaky crust, and you put in some sweet corn, golden.
Welcome back, guys, to Series E as we are getting ready to head into game number 6. We had a short delay because of lobby issues, but we are right back in things, and that is what I'm talking about. Luminosity with back-to-back wins, climbing up to the top of the leaderboard. And it's just full EU representation minus Na'Vi at this point. Luminosity, third Impact, and Cooler Esports sitting in first, second, and third place positions right now, Tom.
Yeah, and it's tough for a team like 303, Flashpoint, Cheez-It, TSM, Pringles. All those teams are just out of reach from potentially placing first. Maybe if they get a huge win here and LG and Third Impact drop the ball, but the way that you see this played out, LG and Third Impact have been playing so well and they've been getting themselves towards the end zone that I just don't know if that's going to be possible. But it's been EU domination. We've never seen this in Series E where the top 3 spots have been these teams. They're getting ready for the ALGS. The playoffs are coming up. The LCQ's coming up. A lot of these teams are already secured and gotten into the playoffs, but there's a few of them remaining that still need to qualify this weekend.
Yeah, this is good signs for Cooler Esports in particular, who have, strangely enough, been struggling despite, back when GSD days, they were winning, they were qualifying for everything, winning everything. They were doing a fantastic job. So it's been some growing pains for them, but right now they are in the top 3 here at Series E. 2 Brains, 1 Controller, though, a team that are still within reach at 42 points, just 4 points behind Cooler Esports. We know how consistently they played. It looks like just in game number 5, facing off against LG was the big trouble they ran into over at Epicenter. And so we'll see if 2 Brains, 1 Controller can bounce back because they definitely have fight in them. We know they can make it to the end game. We just need to see if they can get the frags to back it up as well. This is our final game of the week for Pop-Tarts week, so make sure, of course, you get your giveaway entry in. All you have to do is type an !giveaway in the chat, and you are entered for it. And we will be doing the drawing at the end of the stream, so make sure you get your entries in right now. Team Pop-Tarts really learning how to play edge of the zone, and they've been basically thrown into the deep end of the pool here. Is the team, our European squads, they've been doing that for so long now. And of course, with some of the best North American teams really transitioning over to that playstyle as well. And so they have a lot to learn. Fury has already gone down. Nesh also, Turns has gone down as well. It's all up to Tech here, who doesn't even have armor. He's only got a triple tick and a Mozambique to his name in a 1v3. This is not something we were expecting, as 303 have honestly been getting the better of these engagements. Pop-Tarts, though, over here at Overlook, doesn't look like, again, they are not contested. As you can see the spread coming out from them. They've gotten all the loot here. Never mind, Fat Fruit Ninja has taken some damage here. He's got to be careful. No armor on him or Lucas, as it looks like maybe someone cut in on them, as Applejacks are coming in for the third party up against Na'Vi.
Yeah, is there any armor back here? What's going on? Fat Fruit Ninja finally finds one right when he's on the verge of death. Lucas still struggling. There it is. Gets an armor in his name, but this is a tough situation because they did get 50-50, I believe, in game number 2 or 3, and now it's happening again. And I don't think they were ready for this one, as you see a nice flank coming in for Clay, and Kenny's there to help out as well. That's going to be the knock onto Claws. You don't see the L-Star very often, but it's early game, so why not? And Kenny going to pick up 3 kills when it's all said and done, and Applejacks living it up over here.
And this is not something that's like we're not unaccustomed to, right? For whatever reason, 3 teams are dropping over at Frag West. Applejacks were able to take on and then push the advantage here. They do still have to worry, of course. Third party Central scan out to keep themselves safe for now, as it looks like no one's really coming in. If there was an opportunity, it would have been TSM to try and come in for the third party. They're getting shot at, but no damage quite connecting. Back on board with Pop-Tarts, who are still in this fight over at Overlook, and we know how long this one can take. Such a difficult way pathing to try and get out from this. Scan comes out, as here it is, TSM's Imperial Hal coming in. It's that third party we were warning about. Klane's already gotten knocked. Hal does get traded back, though, and it looks like TSM, though, might have the numbers advantage. Here's the massive shot coming down. Snipe Down does have to be careful. We'll go ahead and pop that Q, as we had a change of roles. I don't know if we ever really explored that or if that happened earlier on, but yeah, it looks like TSM won't be able to survive for now. Here's Rockstar, though, over at Lava City on their regular looting path. They have Cooler in front of them. I don't know exactly what's going on there. Pop-Tart did have to pull the trigger on that fight. Blight will go down. It was Team Cheez-It that came in to contest them.
Interesting that TSM switching it up. Very rarely do you see Hal hop off of the Wraith, but we've seen him miss a couple of armor swaps that he normally gets. We've seen him try to Q when the Q is just a split second away, so maybe he's tired of not pulling off the plays that he typically does and feels like he could be better suited on Bloodhound, or maybe they're just trying something new for the sake of doing it since it's the last game. But they need a big game and they need a big dub here in order to catch up to our EU teams. It's been all LG so far. Cooler's been having a great day, third impact as well. Na'Vi would like to be in the conversation, but they can't because there's so many teams dropping on them. 3 on the Fragment side is absolutely ridiculous. But I'd love to see a scan on where this zone's going to be so we can see exactly how far Team Cheez-It actually has to rotate. Doesn't seem like it's going to be too far away, but Liquid setting up over towards Harvester, which makes me wonder if it's going to pull this way.
Ease the Hunt was popped by Albralele as well, as they're trying to get information here. Scans coming out left and right, but I think one of the things that's really working against Team Solo Mid at this point is that, you know, they're a team that really rely upon Hal being able to read the lobby, but this has not been a consistent lobby. Teams are changing drops every single game, and it's hard to read where you're able to come in for the third parties. TSM, they weren't able to find a lot of the timings we saw in the earlier games, and then just got caught out in rotations at points. It's NPL that are standing in the way of Team Liquid, but it looks like they just want to go ahead and completely avoid this fight now, as of course the Beast of the Hunt was already used by Albralele. They don't have that anymore to try and gain the information. So Nock will go ahead and port them out into safety. They're going to completely avoid this fight for now. There are too many threats in the area looming that you have to worry about. Being this close to Sorting Factory, you know that Sentinels can come up behind you at any point, along with Team Intel. And so I agree with this decision by Team Liquid to just avoid fighting.
Yeah, sometimes the whole lobby's there. You never really know. But that was a fantastic portal coming in from Nocturnal. He used his Q efficiently. He placed it at the furthest possible spot, and also did it where there was enough cover to avoid the long-range shots coming in from the high ground. So heads-up play and kind of a lesson in how to rotate and just take what's in front of you and not making any major mistakes. They're just trying to give themselves an opportunity to get a little bit further in the game, and why force anything when you just have a white armor on your Wraith? So they're going to try to just charge this up with some damage. You have the charge rifle in Albralele's hands. He's going to be able to lay down some shots eventually. And we don't know exactly where this ring is going to pull, and either do they, because they don't have a recon. Oh, they don't have a recon scan for us. So it's going to be difficult to figure out where in Harvester this one will be if it does come out here. But the snakes are always a good bet.
Yeah, so I love this position. Typically, this is where TSM like to hold with their timing, of course, coming out from Frag East now. We are on board with 2 brains, 1 controller. And, you know, if they're setting up here early on, you have to imagine Ring might continue to pull over here, and so you'll have to keep an eye on them. They have been immaculate when it comes to calling those late game circles and positioning for it. This is also typically, you know, classic TSM. This was a position that they would hold when we had Mirage Voyage in play. EMP came out, but CLG will be able to clear that one up. Back away now off of this is they need to heal up their shields, but Vax gets flanked, and oh boy, CLG in a world of trouble as it's Cooler right on top of them. Fortunate that they did get third party. You saw the shots ringing across the bow there, slowing them down for now, but they've got the knock onto Vax, and they will be able to finish them off, pick up the loot. CLG will survive as a duo for the time being, but losing Vax is going to be a tough go of things as Cooler can't continue to chase, or will they now? Madness turning around with that charge rifle, standing his ground to try and stop them from continuing to push them. NPL, though, in a fight now up against Team Cheez-It. Hambino was the first one to get knocked as we join on board with them. E-Boy Ronnie making the port for his squad to close the ground. Dracos is already there. He's got the Beast of the Hunt popped as well. Hambino instantly getting thirsted, but E-Boy Ronnie has to back off. Getting shot at. It might be Liquid from across the ways, trying to
pick up any kind of KP at this point. Dracos will be able to heal up as we join on board with TSM taking the fight here at a no name now. They've got a team trapped up. It's Team Razor. Zero Tricky to go down. Snipe down picks up Hakulo, and Imperial Hal with the help of Reps will be able to finish off Mercy. Only Team Razor going down before even placing into placement points territory.
Yep, it's official. It's time for Snipe Down to give up the Bloodhound, pass it on over to Hal, just based off that one fight alone. It's written in stone now for the rest of the ALGS. But Two Brains, One Controller under this bridge got picked off. You can see Tech trying to hide in this little sliver, which is a nice little cranny to get the res for Bowser, but it's up to Nock to lay down the initial cover for his teammates. And now some nades coming in on towards where LG set up. All of these barrels being popped so the other teams can't see through here, and having the Digi threat on this Mastiff is going to prove very useful. Nice little peek shot right there. He has to back off away from the scan. There's a nice 78 to the dome onto the Bloodhound over towards the door. The peek shot is phenomenal right now for Ronnie. The rest of LG could send this, and this is against a team that's over towards the top 3 right now. Big fight between LG and Cooler at the Dorito building.
Yeah, we know these are 2 of our top 3 teams currently in the lobby right now. 124, Nasky takes out Rugby, tries to go for that instant thirst for that armor swap for himself. Yuki gets pushed throughout all that. Nasky does get that armor swap off, but the caustic gas is there doing so much damage to him. He does go down, piercing through that armor. It's all up to Sir Del here. He's got the Wingman R301. Not quite what you want in these close quarters fights here as he swings on out, but he's getting shot from behind as well. Here comes Two Brains, One Controller to clean that one up. That's a massive team fight win ultimately for Two Brains, One Controller. Remember, they are the ones trailing in 4th place. Now they've taken out 2 of the biggest competitors in the lobby.
You don't really know unless Two Brains, One Controller wins this one if that's good for LG or if that's good for Cooler. It's never good to die like that, but you didn't want to see if you were Cooler LG get away with that one and win and continue to place well, and you didn't want to see if you were LG Cooler to win that one, because now you have to worry about Two Brains, One Controller and 3rd Impact. Those were the teams that have an opportunity potentially to win this. Flashpoint setting up, oh my gosh, what is that? Is that illegal? How many Watson fences is that?
Not enough ever. You need more. But yeah, I think he has used all 12 of the nodes that you can put down.
12,
you
13,
can, of course, put down a 13th one if you take over an opponent's node. And so you can have a lot of fences up. But right now they are setting up inside one of the strongest buildings to hold. We typically see, Two Brains, One Controller playing off the back of this here as we've got a fight now. Casellas, Team Pringles getting a knock on the Cheez-Its, but it might have been a trade. Hambino did go down on that one as we're still on board with Flashpoint playing perfectly here in center zone for now. And here's the fight. Cheez-It versus Team Pringles. Hambino is down. Strictly with a nice high angle and not enough damage coming out from Strictly here. He's only got that Volts as we have, of course, another knock here. Casellas does finally get the knock, but here comes Rockstar now coming in for the 3rd party as well. A lot of fighting taking place here at the south side of Harvester. Rakanishu even turning down to finish off nades there. And it looks like it's ultimately Team Rockstar coming up the beneficiaries, picking up a lot of the KP here. 2 on Rakanishu as they are pinning down the final player here as they hit for the purple. Crummy is there along with Matt Pickett running in with the zone now, gatekeeping against these squads.
Really nice control there from Rakanishu, hitting numerous shots across the map with that Hemlock, but you can see a little bit of sliver of Harvester is in, especially where Team Rockstar is, so if they want to play the edge, they can continue to do so. Unfortunately for Pringles, Stink's going to drop to the ring right there, and now you see Crummy. It's the job of the Wraith to go out there and kind of snoop around, figure out where exactly they want to go and try to rotate where possible rats are, where teams are gatekeeping, and oh, found them.
Yeah, getting hit big there. Almost 85 damage onto Crummy. He does have the gold armor though, so the cells will heal him right back on up. King's coming out onto that rock, and so that might be the final player of Team Pringles out there. I'm not entirely too sure if Intel got completely cleaned up as well, but here is TSM making their move now. They've got a team underneath them. Imperial Hal taking a lot of damage on this Bloodhound. Reps will be able to get the knock onto Fury, and it looks like 303 were able to recover, but that's a big trade now. It's Tech versus, I believe, Snipedown is the only one still alive, but here comes a third party from above as well. That's CLG in the train carts, doing a lot of damage. Pow will clean up Tech, and I believe there's just one last member for TSM. Imperial Hell going down, getting thirsted. We'll see if Snipedown is able to survive throughout this. It looks like they spotted him out, and there he is. Goes for that last hurrah there, but he will get finished off. TSM falling short of even 10th place here, going down. CLG, they dropped down here, but they should be safe. They got the port to work with as well, along with so much loot here. Gold helmet for Pow. You can swap that one off between whomever needs the ultimates, really. And so they're really good about being able to min-max their equipment in this situation.
And I really liked seeing what Hal's capable of doing with the Bloodhound and the excelled speed of the Beast of the Hunt, but the third party came in for CLG. And a lot of people don't remember that Snipedown originally was a Wraith main before he was put onto Watson when he was playing onto Rogue, before he went and switched on over to Bloodhound. He played a couple of different characters, but back when he originally first started competing, Wraith was his main, and he knows how to execute very well in the skirmishes. If he could just learn how to play like how Hal does in terms of being able to put them in positions and put down nice portals, is all hell breaking loose here when you see Intel taking on Knock and 2 Brains 1 Controller. The scans coming through and they're directly in the center here. Nice job by 2 Brains 1 Controller, potentially being able to win not just this game, but the whole day here. But you see more teams flying in for the third party. Bowser with the instant reaction with the fence and the nice interception pylon to give him some more charges on that fence. Team Rockstar in the vicinity too. Pickett trying to find his way through onto Third Impact. Third Impact, this is a big fight because that's another team that 2 Brains 1 Controller wants out of there, and Rockstar are going to finish them off. All of our EU teams towards the top eliminated.
Doing 2 Brains 1 Controller a huge favor there is Rockstar. And so now it's about making it to the end game, picking up additional kill points. Great recovery coming out from 2 Brains 1 Controller. They will be able to fully heal up. You see a Gibraltar off in the distance. Matt Pickett, I don't know if he noticed it. He does have that triple take. We'll just continue to loot there. And he is full up, and so he will back off for now. As we can see, this is looking like a classic Harvester ending. Might continue to pull up towards the snake on the northwest side, or at least on to the flat open ground just to the west of it. It's NPL playing inside snake right now, lurking.
Ronnie's like, guys, I got a rat spot. Let me show you it. All right, let's all 3 stay here right on top of this. And you're going to try to hit him with the bamboozle when it's all said and done. New strategy coming in for Nestle Pure Life. See if it works out for him. Again, this reminds me of when Team Intel was all against that wall, and one grenade could absolutely dominate these guys. But 8 squads left. Still, again, plenty of real estate to play inside. Could play outside, could play on the roof. So I don't think there's going to be too much action for a zone number 4. As soon as this pushes into zone number 5, things are going to start to heat up. So take a look at the team tracker on that right-hand side. You get to see all the players remaining, and it looks like a lot of full squads left, except for Pringles.
I believe, yeah, it's Team Pringles with Casellos as the solo rat, if I remember correctly for them. So everyone else is full up and healthy, and we'll see how far he can get in on this. But as we have that team tracker, the most important one is 2 Brains 1 Controller. They were the closest team in contention for first place within reach now, especially with the placement points that they've already picked up along or secured, along with the kill points that they have already picked up. And red armors for Tech and Knocked. Bowser sitting on a purple himself. This is looking like a great game for them. Sentinels here on the south side have gotten themselves into a fight. Arkstar right on top of Retzi. He's got to be careful. His armor does get cracked. It was CLG there, but Madness has been pushed back as well. They need to fall back into this building to fully heal up, as right now Sentinels considering fully sending it here, but they're going to reset now, continue to make their push. Good spray down with that Hemlock coming out from Retzi. He gets the knock onto Madness, and now here's Team Liquid getting involved as well, pinching CLG, and CLG are in such a rough spot. They might have dropped down to that low ground canal, as it looks like Sentinels are saying, no, these are our kill points. You are not going to get them. Forces Team Liquid back, and 2 brains, 1 controller. Just 900 IQ Galaxy braining it. They've got the end zone circle.
Got a chance to team with all 3 of these guys on 2 brains, 1 controller, and I'm just telling you right now, Bowser is so good at predicting the zones. Tech is really good at predicting the zones. They've just gotten better, and when you put them both together, it's a phenomenal thing that they're able to do. Is they're now taking apart Flashpoint and the kill feed over towards the top right. They're directly in the middle, so this is great for them. And it was the team on the roof, which is the priority targets, that they were able to get rid of when it was all said and done. So I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like Kubsky was trying to go for a portal capture play, and it just wasn't successful. So nice job by 2 brains, 1 controller. They need these kill points, and they need this W if they want to catch up to LG.
And Team Pringles are now out. Casellos, the final rat there, does get finished off. Here comes the EMP as they make the push through the portal. Perfect timing, but they have to recover here. We do have Team Liquid now pushing up onto their high ground. They already used that defensive bombardment as well, but do they know that the port was there, and they have gone down into the low ground. The port's gone as well. What timing coming out from 2 brains, 1 controller. I said 900 IQ before now, but you gotta imagine exponentially
9,000
increased. Exactly 10,000 here, kind of like Modok here, but it's Sentinels making the push on to Team Rockstar, getting the knock and the kill onto Matt Pickett. So many teams have been wounded and punished, but Sentinels, TSM, 2 brains, 1 controller, fully healthy in this lobby.
It's not over for 2 brains, 1 controller yet. They still have to execute. They've been playing so well, but this ramp is just a nuisance to deal with. Teams are going to be fighting over here. We know Sentinels is in the vicinity. Now Rockstar realizing who's over there. NPL finally shows their face after ratting for quite some time, but Bowser hits him with a double thermite. As we were talking about, all it takes is 1 grenade, and there's the invisible res coming in through the Mirage, but I don't think it's going to last very long, as he is able to somehow escape and get the armor swap. But it's going to be Knock coming through. Tex there as well. That's going to send Team Liquid down low, which is only going to help out for 2 brains, 1 controller, because they weaken Nocturnal substantially. There goes, I believe it was Sonar, so another Bloodhound scan coming in from the side. So I'm not sure which team is available with the Bloodhound. But we know 2 brains, 1 controllers over there. So Sentinels, okay, is the team that's locking things down. But what a series of events right there for NPL and 2 brains, 1 controller.
It's Sentinels, Liquid, 2 brains, 1 controller, and with the number of kills that 2 brains, 1 controller have picked up, they might have just done it. Nice thermite coming out from Liquid though, and with this fighting going on, 2 brains, 1 controller just smacking their lips. They're waiting for the trades here, as Sentinels are full, or Liquid are full sending it on Sentinels right now. No trades quite yet, as 2 of Sentinels have gone down. Now Liquid have taken some damage, but the timing here isn't quite in for 2 brains, 1 controller. They will full commit onto this push for now. They get the first knock. Albalili is down. Tech is here with his Mastiff out now, going to go ahead and pull out that Hemlock, and 2 brains, 1 controller will do it in the final game. They get the plus 12. Do they have enough kill points though to secure first place? I think they might have just done it, Tom.
I think so too. I think that was the most points we've seen individually in one single game from one team. Great job by 2 brains, 1 controller. They get into the middle of the zone. They're picking teams apart. They're making out plays when they make mistakes, like Kubsky going in from Flashpoint, trying to get in there and charge. That portal play with all 3 players pushing through was great. They avoid the third party from Team Liquid, and they come in at the perfect time to capitalize on Team Liquid and Sentinels fighting. What a game.
Yeah. 2 brains, 1 controller. Answering the question, can you still play center zone? Yes, you can, especially when you've got the combined brains of just that entire squad playing that expertly out. We're going to go ahead and take a break while we tally up the final results here during Pop-Tarts Week. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll have our first and second place winners announced in just a moment.
Pop-Tarts, they're crazy good!
right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's our final reveal, Series E Pro Night Pop-Tarts Week. Who are our top 2 squads? The EU squads were running it, but 2 brains, 1 controller with a massive game number 6 victory will go ahead and topple all of them. They come up in first place, but Luminosity secure a second place. Now that's amazing because you have to remember, Luminosity, they had 2 back-to-back wins, but 2 brains, 1 controller with consistency ultimately win out.
Yeah, what an amazing final game by 2 brains, 1 controller. It was just a clinic of all of their skills put together in one game. And that's what's a sign of a great team, is when you're able to perform under the pressure, when you really need to win a game, they're able to bump up, I think, 3 or 4 spots in the standings. So really great job by a lot of these teams, especially our EU teams too, coming in 3 out of our top 5 spots. Team Rockstar bouncing back from their rough performance yesterday. So just a great overall display of some amazing Apex gameplay.
Yeah, and one of the big fights that took place in that last game, it was Cooler taking on Luminosity and then ultimately getting third party by, who was it? CLJ? I don't even really remember at that point, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I feel like it was 2. It wasn't 2 brains, 1 controller, because they were in the vicinity, but they just got blessed in that type of situation. Everything that could go in their favor went in their favor, and as soon as that fight happened that you're talking about specifically, that's what really gave them the confidence. And it's awesome to see the storyline develop, because very rarely does it work out that well for a team, and it did. And it's awesome to see them fully capitalize on it too. We know that they didn't just need a lot of kill points; they needed the win. They needed to wait for Sentinels and for Team Liquid to battle it up on top of the roof, and they did.
Yeah, so perfect timing. That's what 2 brains, 1 controller had today, especially in that final game. They are racking up wins here in Series E. This isn't their first victory, by the way. So 2 brains, 1 controller, definitely a team to keep an eye out for. And you know, when we come to relegation at the end of the season, if they're not picked up by that point, they're of course a strong contention for being in Series E throughout the regular season as well. So once again, congratulations, another big victory for 2 brains, 1 controller. Amazing performance though by a lot of our EU squads and a lot of our teams showing us grit here as we head into the last chance qualifiers. And so that's going to do it for us here at Series E. We will be back, of course, same time next week on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you tune in. That's going to do it for us. So for everyone here at Esports Arena, for all of our partnered squads, all of our partner companies as well, Tom and myself, thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Oh man. I have a message for the I have a message for all the Pop-Tarts deniers. You know, Pop-Tarts may have not taken it this week, but you know what? That's okay, because a week is temporary, all right? And that's okay, because that's just the beginning of a legacy. There's so much that can happen that Pop-Tarts is capable of. I'm talking to the Mighty Blighty. I'm talking to the farming farmer Lucas. I'm talking to Fat Fruit Ninja. Oh yeah. All of you guys are saying, you know, Pop-Tarts kind of fumbled the bag this week. Not true. Not true, because they're building up to a legacy. I believe in them. So there you go. There's the mascot to cheer you guys on. That's got to be you guys. We got to stampede to victory. Let's get that in chat. Stampede to victory, guys. Team Pop-Tarts, I love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so we got Pop-Tart hands. They're not like perfectly on my. You know what? We're gonna fix this one because that looks weird. Perfect. I'm Fat Fruit Ninja, and I play Apex Legends for Team Pop-Tarts. We have the Pop-Tarts hand wrist accessories guaranteed to improve your gameplay. Plus, the Sun Deflector. Why wouldn't you need that?